Wow. Hi, everyone.
Wah! Hello.
Wow. Okay, we're waiting,
Greetings.
waiting for people to come in for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let people filter in.
Wait, why am I hearing? Oh. Wait, how do I turn that off? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're back. We're back.
We're finally back. Everybody.
Yes. And you are feeling better.
I'm feeling a lot
The
better.
important part. Good.
Oh, yeah. It's night and day, honestly. Woke up with energy. Feel energy now.
Nice.
Don't feel like anything I eat is stabbing me. Like, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying. Like, I had that for like 2 weeks. It's crazy. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad you're doing better.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely over. It's Jover, as they say.
Did I not? No, it's correct. Well, maybe people are a bit busy today.
Oh, yeah. First, this is like, I think it's Thanksgiving weekend in Canada.
Is it?
And a lot of people use this as a travel weekend. So.
Oh. Yeah, well, okay. Well, I'm sure people will show up. Let's just get in the groove of things. So,
let's get in the groove.
We'll start with a little story time. When I saw this cover in my local game shop, like in the buy this book on the cheap aisle, I was like, I'm gonna take the plunge and buy this. So I own this book as well as the DM's guide. I own them both. I have them.
Oh, wow.
Physically in English as well. I have them somewhere in my possession. I do not remember where they are. So yeah, I have owned this for like a long time, and oh boy, I bought this sight unseen. No idea what it was like about. What this is, and it's going to become apparent quickly what if any issues exist with it. The fact that I say it like that makes it clear that I have my issues with this.
There's problems.
Yeah. Let's just look. So we have a 2-page map following our cover. Fair enough. Not labeled. But we can tell, okay, there's a lot of land, there's a big mountain surrounds this area, and then here you can leave, and then there's like some sort of evil, like you can tell it's evil area down here.
There's some wall blocking us from the evil.
Yeah, but then, of course the wall is towards the west, not the north, but whatever. Some pretty clear influences here. Immediately, you can kind of tell what they were going for. Also, just in the art style, of course, like this grizzled samurai guy, and the way the towns look and so on. So we seem to have some sort of a glorious Nippon game on our hands, right? Like, who could have guessed?
Yep.
So it's originally published. Does it say on this page? No, it would just say in the back, I guess. I think this is like a late 1990s game. Maybe not. Maybe we don't get to know.
The edition was 97. Yep.
So this is like 2000. The second edition.
Yep.
Okay, around that time.
Yep.
Wait, this isn't. Usually they tell you a copyright. Maybe it's below the table. No such luck. What do we get? We get a big table of contents, which is very readable, which is nice. A lot of subheadings and stuff. So we have chapter 1, Earth, which is like the background story information for the game. Then we have chapter 2, which is Water, which is character creation. Then we have chapter 3, which is mechanics. Chapter 4, Air, is magic. And then there's no chapter 5. Which would have been what we have: air, we have fire, we have water, and we have earth. So what are we missing? We are missing earth, fire, water, air. What's the 5th ring?
The 5th ring is void.
Void, right?
Yes. You'd think it would have been spirit, but no, it's actually void.
And that's the GM guide. Like, spoiler alert, which is also open over here. I'm in the middle of it. With this guy on it.
Yes.
And these are a lot more necessary to both have than you'd think. Because in this one, what the hell are these labels? Very unreadable, but okay.
QQQZZZ.
Yeah.
Yes. See, there you go. Start with chapter 1, void.
Yeah. And then chapter 2, within and without and Bushido and all. They couldn't carry through their naming scheme because there's only 5 rings.
Yeah, only 5 rings.
Yeah. How unfortunate.
Yep.
And I'm gonna reveal this right now. Like, are we zoom level? Are we here? 160? Is this about the same? Yeah, it's the same. A lot of background stuff in here in the Void chapter. So the first 50 pages of this book.
Yeah.
And arguably also even up to page 113 is kind of information characters would have in the world. It's kind of like this stuff. You could read it as a player and this would be fine.
Yeah, it would be fine.
Which is a baffling decision. Why is it in the GM's guide? Because like this book has a quick like history of the world. Or the Rokugan, the place we are at, rather. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to put it on to post on Blue Sky that we started. I must do that real quick. The place we're at is called Rokugan.
And from a world designer perspective, I really don't have any problem with Rokugan. I just don't, because it just is what it is. Yes. There's so many games like this that exist where I do have a problem with it. Here, I thought about it somewhat, and honestly, it's a pretty low bar for me.
Yeah. But what it is like, it is not one-to-one. Does this work if I click on it? Okay, good enough. It's not one-to-one like just Japan, though the lore is very Japan coded. It is more that they made their own country, a fantasy country up where magic exists and stuff, and took very, 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 very liberally from Japanese like history and also Japanese like mythology. In a way that is interesting, because they also decided to put this country like on about where China would be in the real world. So the conditions that would have made like a place like Japan aren't present here, but whatever, it's fine. It's fine. You can do that if you want to. So we do have a shogun or emperor or whatever. We have a bunch of different clans vying for dominance.
Yep.
In this case, they're all named after a mythological or real animal. We have some Naga as well that show up. They don't get a lot of billing in the book though, but they do certainly exist. And you could play one.
Yep.
And then there is a lot of talk in here about the evil demonic outsider creatures that come from the demon wastes or whatever they are called. I forget the names. The problem is,
I think they literally call it the Shadowlands.
Yeah, Shadowlands. Thank you. The problem I have with this book, it's not a problem to the book. It's just me personally. There's so many like terms and names in here for stuff that it's hard to remember it. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not weeaboo. I tried, I couldn't do it.
I tried to weeaboo and I failed.
So
all I could do is watch Horse Girl and Rock Show and
yeah.
There are other things also that are present later that aren't really present here. In later editions, they focus on you being able to also play Nizumi, the rat people who are immune to the corruption of the Shadowlands, who become kind of like an ally, but they're also considered still outsiders because they don't fit into our caste system. They're literally rats. That's gross. But, you know, they add more stuff like that over time.
Yeah, they do add more. Like, I deliberately took second edition because I own the book.
Yep.
Also because if the game is like 5th edition, so clearly it has some staying power, right? So first edition can be anything. Second edition is the stuff that people like that they kept, more or less. All the changes they had to make to it. And I know a big change is to dice mechanics, which we'll get to. Let's follow the book along though. In like where it goes. Like we see immediately we have a guy on a throne, cool, masked lady telling him stuff. Okay, this is us knowing nothing about the game, right? We're just coming in here. We're like, oh, yeah. I mean, this guy seems evil as fuck. Look at him.
Huh.
Look at this like throne trying to spit fire. And then you have like the two samurai assumedly bowing to him. And then you go through here, and then there's a little story immediately, which many of these books start with. And yeah, it's written fine. Well, no complaints. We're not going to focus on that too much. We have this guy show up immediately, and like, oh, fuck. That's who we're going to fight in this? He looks tough. But he also looks like this is cool art for the time. Like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. This is the late 90s. We're doing heavy metal inspired things all around kind of art. And this was also the heyday of Kevin Siembieta going through a roster of artists at the time, and so did White Wolf. So there were a lot of people who got exposure in this time period who started freelancing and selling their work to other companies. And Alderac Entertainment Group, which was the original publisher for this, was one such example. They also did this with Spycraft. Yeah. Spycraft was a big deal for a while as well.
Yeah. And I do like that one foot is hidden because you didn't feel like drawing this again. And then they tell you very quickly what's the Legend of the Five Rings. Well, it's originally a card game starting in 1995, and then they made this role-playing game because the card game was successful.
Yep.
Tell you what the role-playing game is, and they make clear you need 10-sided dice. I would highlight text, by the way, but this is literally not possible in this document.
Yeah, it's not always hard. Yeah.
And you will need up to 10 dice per person, not more. And they make clear it's Rokugan, not Japan. Stuff you might know about Japan are not one-to-one the same, though they are similar. It's the gist of this text. And then we get the quick version of what happened. essentially the gods make gods make world, gods make people, people make empire. I'm not gonna, if you're interested in this lore, these books are not hard to find, and there's probably a new edition you could play. Hey, but most importantly, we have the Hantai dynasty with an A, not an E, right? Also, the A. So basically, the A and the E are switched.
Yep. So if you've seen the Shogun series, then you're right at home here immediately.
Yes.
The names have been changed to protect the innocent and all that stuff.
Yeah. This is very... Yeah, we are going to get to that point where I mentioned Shogun even in my post about this. And then, well, they talk about 1,000 years of peace, which is crazy. Why do we have a warrior culture if that's what you have?
Yep. Womp womp.
The reason Japan had such a warrior culture for so long is that they were constantly fighting internally. Because the shogunate was nominally together, but it is a feudal society. So underneath the shogun, there's a myriad other guys who want to be shogun, but you can't be on the throne just now because you don't have the power. But they are going to get the power, so they're going to attack their neighbor and get their stuff. And scheme and so on against each other constantly, leading to a very divided country, even though there's a guy on the throne. That is Japan for hundreds of years. Very simplified, of course. And in this case, you have a dynasty of emperors, so that's to the 39th, I believe.
Yep.
They write XXXIX, which I think is 39th.
That's correct.
Which is interesting. They use Latin numerals for that. I don't know how they would have them, but it looks impressive, I guess. We have clans. They have clans with their own color schemes each. Most like this is a miniature game, and you have to paint them. I don't know why. I guess, for the cards, of course, you buy the cards, they have different colors because then you can recognize that it's a lion card versus a phoenix card or whatever.
Yep.
And to give please. Sorry.
And if you're Game of Thrones brain coded, these are the great houses.
Yeah, that's exactly. It. And you have as the great houses starring Clan of Crab, who are the defenders who mend the wall. So they are the Starks.
Yep. One for one, almost.
Yeah.
They're honor. They're all taciturn. They're stubborn like crabs. Yeah.
They just aren't in the north. They're in the west, southwest, where the Indonesians would be, which was China. Make of that what you will. I don't think it's at all intended. It's just funny.
No, it's just funny.
Then you have Crane, who are the Targaryens. They even have inbreeding.
Yep.
It's really fucking one-to-one. It's funny.
One-to-one.
Because every time the Emperor chooses a bride, he chooses a Crane. The thing says. I guess at this point in the situation. You have Dragon, which is not also the Targaryens. No, it's they live in the high mountains. So it would be the Eerie guys.
Yep, they would be House Aaron. Yes.
Yeah, they're the most magic inclined people. They are kind of they want to be left to their own devices a lot. Hey, good Sonja.
Welcome, good Sonja. Welcome.
Oh, we could. Actually, we could do that. Consonia makes a good point. Consonia will not do that now. We'll do that for next show because there's ways.
We'll do that for next show. Yeah, we didn't prepare in advance.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that. I must admit.
Yeah.
Then you have the Lion, which is just a Lannister. It's really funny.
Yeah, Lannister 1-for-1.
It works so well. Why?
Yeah, that's why I mentioned it before we got into this, because it's just, this is if you just wanted to run Westeros of the Easteros.
No.
That's it.
Oh, by the way, I fucked up. The dragon is not the most magic. That's Phoenix, but we get to that.
Yeah.
So Lion Clan is the most ardent supporters of the Emperor. Gives most of the army is Lion. I don't know what they get out of it. I guess maybe good treatment. And you have Phoenix. These are the magic guys. Sorry, I misspoke. They don't really have a one-to-one equivalent. The first guys I would say that don't have one. They have Scorpion, who are the underhanded schemers, who are supposed to be the guys who get their hands dirty for the Emperor. That's their purpose. However, they also 2 years ago rebelled against the Emperor, and now there's a big war between them and everybody else, which they are not winning, according to this book. You have Unicorn, who are the outsiders. They are the Dothraki. No, they are not. Not really. But they are like the Mongol-coded guys who were sent out hundreds of years ago to scout the rest of the world, and who have returned much later, having been changed into kind of like have weird customs because they haven't been in contact with the rest of them. And then there's the Naga, who I mentioned before, who are like, they're snake people who are actually waking up because of stuff of the things that are happening. And then you have a bunch of minor clans, so minor houses as well. The Badger, Centipede, Dragonfly, Falcon, Fox, Hare, who are defunct. Badger as well. Sparrow and Wasp. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then they explain, this is the rest of the story? Yeah, this is the rest of the story.
Yeah, they continue the story, yeah.
Yeah. Which is a choice.
No,
wait, it is just a new story, I think. Whatever. And then they tell you about Rokugan, the place we're at, which is, again, it's Japan, with the serial numbers filed off with magic. And you have
particular lands and so on. Yep.
Yeah. And this is very much old school shogunate Japan, where you have all these warriors running around, these samurai, who have their own ranks and stuff. And if you are the samurai, you are one of the lower classes who are traders or craftsmen or just peasants with their own names, who are basically, you can just kill one and it's fine as a samurai, which you are playing. Their lord might not like it, and you might have to like pay reprimand or whatever, and it might be a bit dishonorable for you. But these people basically have no rights, they're just downtrodden. And the book treats that as normal and God-given.
Yes. Something Amaterasu. Like, that's literally it.
Yep. And this is the Bongay. The Bongay are the peasants. And then literally it goes like the Hyman half people. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they're all of these, like the highest people actually the peasants who work, and the lowest people are the traders, because that's actually how it was in Japan at the time as well, because trade was not seen as desirable really for the most part, except if you could get Portuguese guns or whatever. And then you have the non-people who are like entertainers, criminals, geisha and musicians who encounter them, and any dirty jobs, because people are very clean in this society. And of course, ninja also fall under this, because of course there's ninja, though you can't really play one. And then they outright tell you, women are kind of have to listen to the men in this society, but you can play a woman. And if you want to be that, you have to basically evolve celibacy and stuff.
Yep.
And it's all treated very mysteriously, where yes, you can't have a lover, but of course many women samurai do have lovers, but it can't get out. If it does get out, blah 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 blah. Like, it paints a real picture of a real place. It is not
It does.
a good place, basically.
Yeah, it's not a great place. It is very feudal Japan. It is
Yes.
very warring states period. It is very it is you can do a lot of things so long as you get away with it brained, which you know, a lot of Japanese society is like that today too.
Yeah. Like, if you can be, if you're a woman who can pretend to be a man and put the armor on and stuff, then yeah, do it. Your deeds matter more than that. But if it comes out that you're a woman, then the society's demands will crush you again.
Yep.
But they kind of love it. They kind of want you to do it.
Yeah, they idolize you if you do it. Like, that's the big thing about this. It's the you don't want to pursue fame and fortune, but in pursuing fame and fortune, you become recognized, even though it was dishonorable to pursue it.
Yes.
It's supposed to be this holding these two separate ideas that are very opposing in your head constantly.
Yeah. You have this game has mechanics for your personal honor and for your glory, but you're supposed to seek neither. You're supposed to do these honorable and glorious things because they are the code you follow. Which is, that is exactly how it was at the time. And it's exactly as two-faced as you would think. It breeds exactly the same outcomes as you'd think. Where people, of course, they are very humble to their lord, but then they are cutthroat as fuck to each other.
Yep.
But the book doesn't really mention this, which is crazy. When you go about religion, which is very Shinto coded as well, and this religion is where the magic system comes from.
Yeah.
They tell you about like what their life is like. They make clear that marriage is entirely for procreation. There's nothing. Love is, who cares, basically, in this society. It's very feudal coded there. And since in this, it is very feudal coded also like it was back then, where if you are like a samurai, you don't decide who you marry. Your daimyo, your master will provide you a wife.
Yep.
And can be even more than one wife, I believe.
Yeah, there is some polygamy going on here. Just a little.
Yeah. And then
of
there's
course
even
it's Sudoku. Yeah,
they talk about doing Sudoku. Which is something, you're supposed to do it. You were supposed to be courageous in the face of death, even to the last. And talk about like, what do the other guys do? They trade and stuff. They give you the money at some point, which is just also based on rice. It's all feudal Japan. From start to finish, all feudal Japan. Where here it is actually. One koku is 5 wu is 50 zeni. And the koku is would you enough rice to feed a man for a year. 40 gallons of rice. And obviously you can't run around with 40 gallons of rice on your person. So you have a little chit that you can go to the granary and exchange for the rice if you want to, which is the koku. And all the smaller denomination stuff. And that's how it really worked. They really did base their money on foodstuffs, which is honestly a pretty smart way to do it, if you think about it.
Oh yeah.
Because of course you get big fluctuation, and you might get people like speculating on the food. But if money is your food, you're also less likely to squander it, at least. And in the end, feudal society revolved around the harvest and stuff, and getting whoever could feed their people would persevere and thrive. So it makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, it was extremely straightforward. Like all this is stuff that you would expect. The thing that most people don't expect is that the highest of the peasant class, the half-men, is the carpenters. I can't remember if they go into detail about it in this section, but I know they go into detail about it in this edition. Because carpenters, they're the ones that build stuff. They have 4 different specialties, all of this other stuff. And it is not what you would expect, because this is not a time of guilds. They didn't have guilds. They instead did have people that had their trades passed down from father to son still. And in the case of the carpenters, a guy comes into town, everything's burned down. We're talking Warren States here. Oh my gosh, that guy is the king. He can rebuild your society. So that's why they're highly valued.
I didn't mention, but they're part of the farmer class as well, because anyone who makes things with their hands is still in some regard. So farmers make the food, so they are regarded, and craftsmen make everything else, so they are regarded. But if you are selling your body to make nothing, which is music or entertainment, or if you are trading other people's stuff, then you are basically to this society, you're on the lowest rung.
Yep. It's really hard being a stand-up comic in Rokugan.
Yep. I mean, there is, but you are gonna have to be very careful about who may make jokes about.
Yep.
There will be a lot of cries about besmirching someone's honor and getting you to duel or something. Probably just cutting your head off because
be like a good swordsman.
yeah, you can probably the best. Yeah, you have to be a good comedian. You kind of should be a samurai first. It's actually it's kind of a good character concept. They talk about language. Literacy is like outside. The samurai class just learn to read and write, but many people just don't. What they eat, how they dress. It's also all very Japanese. It's basically exactly what you would expect. It's like manga book levels of Japanese everywhere.
That's a fair way to put it. I don't ever feel like that it descends into hardcore Orientalism, though, where we're doing wacky shit with it. It just feels like, no, this is just the dressings. That's it.
Yep. No, I agree with that. They did not they aren't like overly glorifying what's going on. They're just saying this is how it is. This is the world. Like, deal with it. The writing in this isn't bad in that regard, I would say. Yeah. And then they talk about Bushido, which is the way of the sword in Japanese real culture. And it's basically the same pillars where you have to show courage at all times. You have to be loyal to whoever you are is your leader, whoever is your superior. You have to be sincere. You cannot lie, and so on and so forth. This is a good example here. Rokugan is more concerned with appearance than truth. Being considerate to others can win many favors, while being inconsiderate can cost you your life. The main reason for all this politeness is the idea of on. Translates best into respectability of face. On is literally how well respected you are in your caste. A samurai with no on has been disgraced and may only save his on by committing seppuku. Rokugani are respectful of each other because causing a scene will bring a loss of on to both parties. Discipline is very important to Rokugan, and when someone shows a burst of emotion, you would say he has lost his face. So this is the writing style for this. They aren't telling you, yeah, this is great that it's like this. No, they're just saying it's like this. You deal with it when you roleplay.
Yeah.
And yeah, they mention here the first time duels, which is a very large part of this game actually, where you can have one-on-one duels with someone if the masters say yes to it. Your master first, and then if you call the duel, it's your master, whatever. We'll get to it. Bragging is also like basically a codified thing where you can do it and it's not bad. And it might give you an advantage if someone has heard of you and thinks you're a good swordsman and stuff, because then they might hesitate in the fight.
Oh yeah.
It's all presented very neutrally, and I do enjoy that. This book isn't badly written. Talk about Imperial Court. It's all very, 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 very Japanese. We have the daimyo, you know? They use all the terms. And yeah, each clan is a daimyo, which is their leader, you as whatever clan, samurai or magic caster, I forget the name of it they use.
Genja.
Yeah, thank you. You are beholden to, well, probably indirectly, but you are beholden to them. So you have to be loyal to your clan. This is part of your creed as a character in this game. Mm-hmm. And then they even go about how do you address a samurai? How do you talk to them? How do you show the respect? And what can you expect as a samurai others do when they see you? If they aren't acting like that, that's an affront, and you can be correctly insulted by it. And you can, of course, be magnanimous and be like, oh, it's fine, they didn't really do it too bad. They probably don't know or something. But you can also make a scene. It's within your right. And sometimes you should, and sometimes you shouldn't. And when's the times you should and shouldn't, so on and so forth. A lot of talk about the etiquette of situations as well. I don't want to get too far into this. Mm-hmm. Good morning, J-Man.
Morning. But suffice it to say, a lot of this is tied to Shintoism as well.
Yes.
They do talk about, hey, etiquette is also referring to the spirit of a place. How your ancestry is tied up with that. Your ancestry is tied up in your blade and the sigils you wear and so on. It's very what you would expect, but also it's just the fact that they just go with it sincerely is huge tick box in the plus column for how this is written. This is how you should write your societies. If you want to do a different culture with it, sure, go for it. But my point is that it's just written sincerely. Yep,
exactly. They tell you how presenting themselves. Samurai may present himself before ranking individual if he has been introduced by the shogeja or advisor to that noble lord. Often, if a lord wishes to see another daimyo's retainer, he will have his advisor request that the retainer ask for an appropriate appointment with the lord. Then the lord immediately sets the appointment date, often within hours, and has the meeting. So if you are around at any time near your lord, you might just be told, go towards that other lord right now and tell him what you are about. This is now your sole purpose in life as my retainer.
Yes, yeah. A lot of roleplay is informed immediately just by all of this. Yeah. Unlike other games that decide not to tell you, well, this is a place full of decorum, and here are the rules, and no, at the very start of the game, immediately as the GM, well, your lord tells you to do this. You can immediately start there.
Yep.
Very quickly.
And yeah, you might get gifts, but it's a lot of stuff here. That is. You can insert your knowledge of feudal Japan in here if you have any, and it's probably going to be quite accurate. And it's all they make it clear, in the gift giving chapter, that it's all about, yes, we are giving gifts because it is expected. We are giving gifts because it raises our glory and honor in the eyes of that person. And that it's so we are not giving gifts because we are good people. We are giving gifts because society expects us to, and it will pay us dividends to do so. Mm-hmm. So it is all very self-serving ultimately.
Yes.
And they don't shy away from telling you. And yeah, it's all talking about architecture and stuff. It's Japanese. You can look at any manga from medieval Japanese times to know what it looks like. And then for the first time here, no, Life and Death, they talk about you are expected to lay down your life with your lord. Like you can't run from a fight if he ordered you to fight and so on. If you do, it's like dishonorable. You can be asked to commit suicide and so on and so forth. You can call for duels if your honor was besmirched, and then it's to death usually. There isn't such a thing as we're dueling to first blood and then like it's forgiven like Europe had. No, they murder each other with swords.
Yep.
But also you can't just say duel and then do it. No, if you want to duel, you can't even shout at the other guy. You have to go to your lord and say, hey, I want to duel with that guy. He besmirched my honor. And your lord can say no, but if he says yes, he will tell the other lord, hey, duel time. And then if that lord at that point says no, that is a smirch on their honor. So probably there will be a duel now. Because you talked about it. Because if you keep it quiet, then we all keep our face, right? But if you talk about it, now we have to show the consequences with a full breast too, because otherwise we lose face. It is really crazy. It is honestly a crazy society.
Yes.
And then they come to the Shadowlands, which is the evil place where they're dead walk and there's demons and shit. And the land is tainted and doesn't grow things. And if you hang out there, you also become tainted.
Yep.
It's a bad place. And you would think that they would be trying to do something about it, but no. Everyone is way too concerned with saving their face and honor to be able to really organize a response to this place now, like both subverting the Crab Clan and attacking it more openly. Yeah.
Yep. It's all set up for all the intrigue that you could possibly want, plus the existential threat that looms beyond the wall. Wait.
Yep.
I think I just described another thing as well.
Yeah. I wonder if George R. R. Martin read this book before. No, we know he read other things, but it's not a bad setup, let's say.
It's really not. It's just fine for a tabletop role-playing game, for a card game, for a miniatures game, for whatever you want.
And they give like a quick explanation of the plans with a bit more detail than we did earlier, but not that much more. And talk about like where they came from, what they are doing, and where they are now at present. And it is interesting that they include Scorpion as playable because they're supposed to be in a big war. I don't know how it's supposed to work. And I don't think the book does either. Like they are even presented here as, the big war, like we're kind of not winning. Who would have thought that a 6-on-1 is bad? But now they're trying to be more shadowy about their plot and so on. Like a struggle to see, and we're gonna get back to this a few times, I think, how it would be beneficial to anyone for a spy to run around in color-coded armor and shout very loudly about their honor. Like the clans, in this case, it doesn't make sense why it's a samurai clan, really. No. Because look, it's a Scorpion. We shall not trust them. Even if you're the nicest guy ever, if you're a Scorpion clan, you're just fucked.
Yep. Well, this is what we refer to as the Towers of High Sorcery problem, or the Dragonlance problem. Because for those who are not aware, in Dragonlance there are the Towers of High Sorcery, which are where you go to become a real wizard daddy. And the thing is, though, is that there's three kinds of wizards. One wears white robes, one wears red robes, one wears black robes. You can figure out which one is good, which is neutral, and which is evil. And yes, they are called that in the setting. And the black robes are evil, obviously. So the wizard shows up, says he's here to help, and he's wearing black robes. you're not going to trust the wizard. Just like a scorpion shows up who's a samurai, says he's here to help. You're not going to trust him because he's wearing scorpion colors. Like, this, I'm going to signpost my own demise. Like, this is what this is. It's so stupid.
Yep.
I hate it.
Yep. Unicorn, who are the horse people, as I said, they're this cavalry. And they kind of even half nomadic. They're not really, but kind of nomadic.
Yep.
And again, the Naga, who are kind of in this book a bit of an afterthought, but they do exist. And then talking about Ronin, who are clanless samurai, who there's a lot of, because you wouldn't expect it, but many people die, and then if your daimyo dies, all of the people under him no longer have a person they respond to, and if no one can take the mantle, then you're Ronin now. Congratulations, you're basically cannon fodder now. You must hope, and since the whole society is geared around having this person who takes care of you, but who you will follow to the death. If you don't have that, then very quickly you must make a lot of very hard decisions about where I keep on living. And this was of course a big problem in real Japan back in the time, and it's a big problem in this too. And but you could play one of these. Wouldn't recommend it because it's you're kind of gimping yourself, but we'll see. And then they talk briefly about the minor clans. And I think it's meant to get pages in this. I don't know if they're basically a few that get mentioned, but
yeah, Mantis and Fox are always the two that get highlighted.
Yeah. And then we come to character creation. So we haven't talked about dice yet, but the book hasn't either, right?
Yep.
So for once we are going to just hang out. So then you're supposed to answer 20 questions, and these 20 questions are quite something because they start out, what clan does your character belong to? That shouldn't be your first question in this.
No. It really shouldn't be.
But you can look at clan sheets 113 to 151 to make a decision here. This should be a question that you answer once you have decided to make the character, to come up with a character, not at the start of it. How would you describe your character? Is your character Bushi or Shugenja? So a warrior or a mage? Isn't that something that is in the description?
Yep.
What about your character's family? What's your character's main motivation? What is the one person your character trusts most? What is your character's greatest strength, greatest weakness? What does your character think of Bushido? What is your character's own opinion on his clan? Like, these are interesting, these two.
Yeah, those are.
Because the Bushido thing, you can be very easily self-serving in this, and you probably should be. Make an interesting character.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the TLDR of these questions is that they are not super helpful in my opinion.
No, they really aren't.
Like the problem is that it doesn't have, like, even if I read the previous chapters, right? Even if I have a clan in mind, you don't really know enough to make these decisions, really, in my mind.
Yeah, you would have had to fully internalize the previous chapters and stuff that's written after these 20 questions. Like, there's a lot to internalize to answer these questions.
Yep.
Which is different from knowing. Like, you really have to understand what religion is in Rokugan in order to answer the religious question. And the better questions are, how would your character handle an insubordinate servant? Because it's actually, my character would do a thing. Like, what would your character actually do?
Yeah.
Which action? This is definitely a society where you're everybody's so controlled and disciplined that whatever action that they actually undertake will scream about what kind of person they are.
Yeah. We mentioned it initially, but if you want to have a really good depiction of all of this, the Shogun TV series is actually quite illustrative of how crazy it gets, how quickly. in a society like this.
It's the best Japanese period piece TV show ever.
Yeah.
Like, there hasn't been a better one, in my opinion.
They legitimately will tell a underling to commit suicide because it sends a particular message about their mental states of their lord and stuff. It's insane, and it paints to me a picture of a society where I really wouldn't want to live in, but also where it would be difficult to have people of disparate clans work together in any way.
Yeah. ...
Oh. But I'm sure they solved that problem, right? We'll see. So you can the game gives you a few ideas about types of character you might play. Are you a vengeful, are you a scholar, are you a rogue? These are not... This doesn't inform really anything in game terms, but it does inform in what direction you might want to develop the character. It's more helpful than the 20 questions here, in my opinion.
Yes, it is. Way more helpful.
Yeah. And then it talks about attributes, rings, and traits. So there is 5 rings. Yeah, earth, water, fire, air, and void. We talked about them before. Each of these has 2 attributes linked to it. With earth, it's stamina and willpower. Makes sense. With water, it's strength and perception. Okay. With fire, it's agility and intelligence. Okay, makes sense. With air, it's reflexes and awareness. Okay. And with void, it's just fucking void. That's actually not 2 attributes, 2 traits. I lied. So you have 8 attributes, and you have void as your 9th, and void is basically a luck stat which you can reroll some rolls. That is still, yeah. And you start with everything having a 2 in each attribute, unless you take a particular flaw or something, maybe. So you would at 2, you are an average guy. And then there's skills, which key off of attributes, which go from 1 to 10. Attributes go to 5, these go to 10. Okay. And then clan, family, and school. These are special abilities you get from being from a particular clan or particular school or particular group in the setting. And then you get character points, which is basically 30 points you can spend to increase stuff about your character. And they will mention, if you just go to the page now, I think it's fair enough. Oh yeah, right. It's an interesting point to me. You will, as you advance, gain more of these character points. It's basically XP, right?
Yep.
And if you're at 150, you gain rank 2, and then it's very quickly to rank 5, which is interesting. Yeah. This is a very unusual character progression system where you actually gain your special abilities late, but then pretty quickly altogether.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because from 1 from 2, it's 150 points, but to go from 2 to 5, it's 100. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very unusual in that regard. Very unusual.
Yeah, they mentioned the experience points, and the cost is also the exact same. So essentially, you're just gaining character points. They're just called a different thing. Then you have glory, and you have what's the other one? Fame? No, honor is the other one. Yeah.
Glory and honor.
Mm-hmm. Wait, is it? Am I misremembering something?
School rank is the section that you were looking at with the points.
Is it? But it's school rank isn't honor based, right?
No, it's based on your insight points.
Yeah, which is basically UXP. Yeah, okay. 7 insight in school rank right here. To determine a character's insight, first add up his rings, multiply the total by 10. So if we have 2 in everything, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
It's 100.
100, okay. Then add up character's skills, you get a point per skill for his first rank. Oh, so you don't start at 0, you're way higher. Okay, I misunderstood that.
Way higher. Okay, yeah, that's different.
So you would actually gain these ranks pretty quickly overall. It's like you're at 110 or something to start, maybe. And then at the 51, okay. I misremembered how that works. Yeah. So you aren't at 0. It's kind of weird that they show that, because you would at least be at 100 from having all your attributes at 2.
Yep, you would.
Or your rings at 2. And that's actually the only time these rings matter. And then, because I was looking all around for where the rings come in, and it's here. Great.
It's here. Yeah, it's for the Shugenja. That's mainly it. Because the Shugenja is the only one that can really bank on having, quote unquote, the elemental understanding.
Yeah.
And even then, the void points, Shugenja get their own special way of spending them too.
Yeah.
So.
And also the Bushi, they get their combat bonuses from it, special combat stuff. Yeah. So we'll get to that in a second. We are gonna talk about honor and glory later, because it comes up later.
Yeah, it comes up repeatedly later.
Yeah. When they talk about skills, how does that work? Well, you roll a number of. They explain here how you roll for the first time, which is crazy. Why didn't you put your mechanics section before this? When I originally read this book, I was very happy to come at this, and it didn't explain enough. But then I realized there's a whole section later.
Yep.
I don't know why we keep encountering this.
It's a lot of the clean editing stuff didn't really happen until PDF editing and so on, and computerized typefacing became like a universal skill.
Yes.
Because I noticed that this universal skill didn't really get propagated until after 9/11. Before that point, before 3rd edition D&D, it just wasn't a thing. Like a lot of these books are all over the place. Like we're just looking at this book critically right now. The typefacing and like the typesetting reminds me of things that we looked at that were from the 80s, which this is done in 2000. Like it's still. There's still a ways that it had to go. And I'm just not even a knock on it. It's just that we didn't all have scanners yet. We didn't all have ways of doing OSR yet. We just didn't have that yet until after 9/11.
It's honestly like a time where even many people wouldn't have the internet yet. So there's a lot more of, okay, I'm looking at like the influences I like in terms of layouting, and I'm going to copy this layout. Do I know exactly how they made it? No.
No.
I'm going to do my best. And then make it make sense somehow. So, but yeah, how do we do rolling? Well, it's quite simple, really. You roll dice according to your skill. Let's say you have a skill of 5, you would roll 5 d10s. And then if the skill is based on, say, an attribute which you have 2 in, you keep the 2 highest dice. And the zeros you can re-roll until they don't throw zeros. And you add the numbers together. Let's say I rolled 5d10, I have 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. I would have an 18, and I would re-roll the 10. Let's say I get a 5, so I have a 23. That's a roll. You can also sometimes be asked to roll a stat. This can happen if you don't have the skill, or if it's just a stat check, like a pure strength check. In that case, you would just keep all the dice and not reroll 10s, because you don't reroll 10s on stats, just on skills. You do this against the target number that the DM sets, or against the other person's skill if it's a contested roll. So what we see here pretty quickly is that it's very swingy, this system.
Super duper swingy.
Because if you don't roll 10s, then you're kind of like gonna lose against someone who did roll 10s because they were lucky. Even if you roll 3 9s and they roll 27, and you get to keep all 3 9s because you have attribute of 3. If someone else rolls 10, 10, 9, they beat you on one die they keep. Of course, that's unlikely, but it happens. It's kind of a juiced up version of Shadowrun 2nd edition.
Oh,
you would roll d6s and they would explode. So you would roll like 6 dice, get 1 6, roll that again, get another 6, roll that again, get a 5, and you have a 17 suddenly. Because in that, only your highest roll ever counted. Though it could happen that you highest roll counts for success, but then more successes that make the thing count for degrees. Degrees aren't really a thing here, except that if you beat the check by more than 5, that's a degree. So if I have my 27 and the skill check was for 15, I have beaten it by 2 degrees. And I'm extra cool while I win. That's the whole game. And now you might say, hey, but Nora, what if I have a skill of 2 and an attribute of 3? And I'm like, yeah, then you roll 2 dice and get to keep 3. So better raise that attribute a bit more.
Yep.
There is such a thing as not having enough skill yet in the system to do good at a skill.
Yes.
But usually your attributes are like 2s and 3s. And raising a skill to 3 costs you 6 points. While raising an attribute to 3 costs you 18 points.
Mm-hmm.
So you can generally just raise the skill first and then raise the attribute if you want to.
Yep.
And
that's pretty much the way you play it in this game.
Yeah. And there's also something to be said for, it doesn't really make sense to make your attribute maxed very quickly. Because what does it really do for you? If you roll 10 dice, the chances of you rolling above average on all of them is not that high. The chance of rolling above average on half of them is even not that high, mathematically speaking. The average over many dice rolls will be fine, but like you expect to add like a 5 to your result if you do it, but if you add just dice for way cheaper that you don't get to keep, you give yourself more chances to roll 10s, which you really want to do. Because a 10 is automatically at least an 11. And on average, a 15.5.
Yep.
So your probability space isn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10. No, it's 1 to 9, 15.
Yep.
So you want to roll those 15s. So having skill 10 is really nice on an attribute of like 3. Because sure, you might sometimes really roll a 4th 10 and be like, shit, I can't bring this with me. But then if you roll the four 10s again, and one is an 11 and the other are higher, then you don't use the 11, you use the other 3. So it's always beneficial to have the more dice and skills, more so than attributes.
Yep, and that's what spells the difference between this and a system where the 10 doesn't explode like that. In a system where the 10 doesn't explode, you are left with man, I just wasted my 4th 10.
Yep.
And that happens more often than you think. Oh my god.
Yep.
That happened a lot at the table playing this game.
Swingy before, what does that mean exactly? So, Sanad, what does swingy mean? Okay, let's say my system, we are fighting in a system. And we are rolling 10 d4s to arrive at our number that determines who wins. 10 d4s is not very swingy because the average of a d4 is 1 to 4, average 2.5. And we roll 10 dice. We're probably going to be apart a little, but we can expect around a 25 on each dice roll with a possible variation between 10 and 40. But due to the law of averages, getting a 10 or a 40 is less likely, right? Because we have to roll all 4s or all 1s to get the 10 or the 40, which is not going to happen. We are not going to have the same number because that's also very unlikely to happen, but we are not going to be apart by 38 points. But if we rolled a d40 instead, then it's equally likely to roll a 1 or a 40 and every other number in between. So it is very likely that unlike us before, where we all have like maybe a 28 and you have a 24, so I slightly win and get a little bit of an advantage over you. If you roll a 39 and I roll a 3, and we are apart by 36, and I'm dead. And this is the years in this case we have 2 degrees of swinginess. We have the first initial roll in which if we just roll good, we keep higher numbers, and then we can re-roll the 10s, right? So that increases the swinginess even more because technically I can roll 10, 10, 10, 10 on one die and have 40 and still re-roll that 10 again. And you have 4 dice you keep, but none of them is a 10. So you lose against like the guy who just had mega luck on the table. Yes, it's unlikely. But these scenarios do happen. And in this case, I would say it's swingy mainly because of the 10s that enter in. Because if you have an equally skilled matchup, let's say we have 6 dice and keep 3, it all comes down to who rolls 10s. And that's kind of just luck. And it also means if you roll 110 let's do the math here. Like the average is 5.5 on a d10. So on 6 dice, you expect to roll 33 and keep half of it. So if you roll all 5s and 6s, you keep 15.5 or whatever, 16.5. But if you roll 1, 1, 1, 9, 9, 9, you have 27 to my 15 or 16. That's already inherently swingy. But now if you roll all 5s but 1 10 and I roll all 9s and your 10 rerolls to another 10, blah, blah, blah. It just creates a giant probability space that is not likely to generate outcomes that are close to one another, is the point I'm trying to make. Not sure if I'm explaining this the best way or not. Jake, do you have...
You explained it really well.
Okay.
Swingy means having results that have such huge range of difference that you cannot predict when you're rolling your dice. Hey, I'll get an average of this, right? And then the result is always not that average. It's instead something crazy. Yeah. Because having a huge range is what the problem usually is. That's why Shadowrun, because it relied on D6s for so long, that range was still kind of constrained, even in the early editions when you had the when you got a 6, you rolled again and added to it. Because even back then, it was like it happened often enough to where it didn't feel like, oh, this came out of left field, but also it happened rarely enough to where it didn't feel like you were just constantly doing it if you were rolling only 3 dice. So it had its give and its take. But this is, oh god, it's so swingy. Yeah, it's mainly because it's D10s. If this was D6s, it would be a little different. But because it's D10s, you have that constant chance to roll 3 9s and 3 1s.
Yeah. Like it's not the averages still work out, of course, to the same thing, but the variation that's in these averages is higher. If you were flipping coins on the system, it would be less swingy on the same outcomes.
Yeah.
Just because you can, if it's on 66, you roll a 60 or roll a 6. That's swingy.
It's why people vibe a lot with Vampire, Werewolf, and Hunter 5th edition. Because success, 6 or greater. Okay, cool. What happens on a 10? Well, if you get 2 10s, something special happens.
Yeah.
Because then it's rare enough. But if it was always when you roll a 10, something special happens, that's too much for the brains of most people.
Anyway, dice rolling thoroughly explained. There's in this game actually there's the skill. It looks big. The skill isn't that big though. There's the concept of high skills and low skills. It's interesting. A high skill is something that is honorable for your samurai character to have, while a low skill is something that is not honorable for your character to have. And these include a lot of things like, weirdly enough, acting and artisan and astrology. This is because being good at stuff is cool and gives honor to you. So if you're good at drawing or good at making poetry and good at writing poetry about your enemies and making them look like idiots, that gives you honor. So it's a skill useful to have. At least some clans think so. Crab will just bonk you on the head.
Yes.
But that's where this comes from. And of course, then there's, if you look at low skills, it's actually a lot, like there's a few more skills than you'd think. Like merchant skills are interesting because you aren't supposed to have this as a samurai, but it is kind of okay. Like it's fine if you're a weaponsmith, and it's also explained above already. But merchants, like it's kind of almost what you are allowed to know, and everything else would be weird. Like if your merchant can fight, that's weird.
Yes, you're supposed to hire bodyguards. Like there's a clear-cut delineation. Like that's why I brought up the carpenters earlier. Carpenters are very rich commoners who are able to hire bodyguards to do their job.
Yeah,
and the bodyguards are expected to fight. If the carpenter draws blood with a blade, then it is considered weird.
Yep. Stuff like Bouge is like there's also Bouge skills in here. A Bouge skill is a skill that a fighter is expected to have.
Yeah.
And like armorer and athletics and so on, these are stuff you would of course have if you fight. But they aren't really honorable skills.
I forgot about the explosive skill.
Yeah.
And how they referred to gunpowder as gaijin pepper.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Oh, that's good. That's so good.
Yeah. And then interestingly, like for like a low skill, climbing. It's so funny. No, you aren't supposed to climb as a fighter. That's never happened before. Climbing a wall, are you insane? No. And this informs not so much what skills you can have and can't have. It informs if someone sees you climbing a wall like some sort of, a spider, they're going to be like, is that a secret, like Scorpion clan, or is this a ninja who is just pretending to be from the clan? What is going on? Why are they so good at this? Like it will make you look suspicious and non-honorable. And it is funny that they carry that through even in their skill section, their character creation section.
Oh, yeah.
Like that there isn't a place where they say, by the way, if you take like skills like forgery, like that's dishonorable. They just put it in this category.
Yep.
I find that they do care about their theming in this game, which I think is good.
This is a really good example of a game where they do have a system, but the lore, the background, everything else existed well before the game existed, but it wasn't a novel series. It was a card game.
Yeah.
So all the mechanics and everything goes to serve the lore, which honestly, good. This is how I like it. I like it like this.
Yep.
They even have little things in the advantages section, like for Dragon Clan, taking ambidextrous is cheaper because the Dragon Clan is known for doing the katana and wakizashi 2-weapon fighting. They're known for that.
Yeah, you can spend your starting points and advantages and disadvantages too to gain some extra points if you want to, or like have cool advantages. And a lot of these are very also very setting dependent. Like being a daredevil not only gives you plus 10 to rolls that are super like dare I say like stupid to do. If you perform an impossible feat, the MCQ rolls a die. If the die roll is even, the character receives a plus 10 bonus to the roll. Like this is a funny one to me because it's like, yeah, you don't even know if it's gonna work, but you better try to do daredevil stuff. You're gonna fall on your ass sometimes trying, but hey, sometimes it works. And stuff like blackmail, glory of the blackmailee, minimum 1. Like if you have blackmail on someone, it's a real advantage because they can't fuck you. But of course, having blackmail is also dishonorable, right? So, different school is also interesting because you just learned a different fighting style than people expect from you.
Yes. I love that one actually, especially if you're Shugenja.
Yeah.
What do you mean, you bastard water? You're the Earth Kingdom, like.
Yeah, and you can just start having a village that is yours. It gives you taxes. And there's just rolls for that. Good luck. Good luck keeping that fucking village.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, you can make the game is very open about making the character you want within the constraints of it should be a samurai or a shugenja. Like imperial spouse, the imperial family is married. You have a fucking wife who is an imperial princess. Stuff like that. It's interesting, but then we get to the I want to get to the disadvantages because that's also a riot. Being ascetic, being adopted is a disadvantage. Bad fortune. This is literally not you having a bad fortune. You just roll a die and see. Like the player doesn't even know what's gonna happen. But the DM rolls the die and then they get 1 of 10 outcomes. Which is interesting. Like you have you can have say bad fortune 1 point and then have a tobacco allergy. Or you could have an enemy in another clan. You don't know. It's like a 3 point. Maybe it's really bad.
It's terrible.
Can't lie. You can actually in this setting, not even that bad. It's one of those things that would be it's bad for a player character usually, but in this setting, I don't know. Coward is a variable disadvantage depending on how big a coward you are. It's also funny. They usually don't make the distinction, and it brings more points for lion characters because obviously why?
Yes.
They hate you even more if you're a coward, and if you're one of theirs and the coward, holy shit.
Yep. They really hate you.
And then they have like Death Seeker, which is like, you want to die gloriously because you have lost your face. Okay, is that a character you should play? The disadvantage even says no, you shouldn't. It's for one shots maybe. It's like, Oh my god. They're really carrying through their theme.
They really are.
Give you an example
Really are.
character creation.
When it
But we
works.
can talk about the character creation here. It will be slightly hard to read, I'm sorry. So, with character creation, you choose a family, which is basically each clan has a few families associated with it. And they give a bonus, like Hida gives +1 strength, Kuni gives +1 intelligence, and Yasuki gives +1 awareness. If you are a crab, you would pick one of these. And these are basically your noble houses within the clan.
Yep.
Then you customize your character with your 30 points. And this is always new level ×3 for trait, so strength is a trait. For Void Ring is new level ×6. This is your rerolls. We haven't talked about it, but Void is basically if you do any skill, you can reroll, I believe, a die or several dice. I forgot.
I forgot as well.
Basically,
I just know that having a reroll is strong in this.
Yeah, having a reroll is very strong in this. And then new level in a skill is just the new level ×1. And then you can lower or raise your honor with points if you want to. Your starting honor would be 2 normally, but you can raise it if you want to. Why would you want to? Don't worry about it. And then you determine your wounds, which is your earth ring multiplied by 2. And we'll see in a minute what that shakes out as. You determine your insight, which is again at what point you gain further stuff. And then you write the background, and then that's the character.
Yep.
And let's look at the Krabibushi with the slightly. Someone dragged the book right at this moment. On the scanner. So you gain 1 stamina. Your beginning honor is 1 and 5 plus 5 boxes. Boxes are basically honor level 1, but you have 5 boxes filled of honor, and it could go to 2 quicker. That's how honor works.
Yep.
And as a Bushi, you gain the first rank in the techniques section. And if you get to 151 points, you would get the second, and so on and so forth. And basically, these are little bonuses. In the case of Crab, you ignore the penalties of armor.
Yep.
Which is strong, obviously. Makes sense.
Strong here, yeah.
Also very, of course, thematic to a crab. You are armored. You're going to be armored always.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Yep, and then it shows the flip side, the Shigenja school, doesn't it? On the next page.
Yep. Which will get a willpower and the same honor. You get both also gain skills, obviously.
Yeah.
But Shugenja don't really gain these combat skills. They instead gain spells. And they, as their thing goes up, they get a more spell. Basically, they get a higher affinity for elements from the thing. And then you can have an outfit and a bit of stuff. Like, the character creation after all this isn't that complicated.
So, it's pretty straightforward, honestly.
Yeah. And then again, so apologize. Now we are ready. Okay, no, this is all crap. Never mind. And then they give you a bit of views of the other clans, very vampire coded here, World of Darkness coded. And usually it's like, yeah, the cranes are snooty, the dragon always like the dragon realm hidden in silence, even as the winds of war blow across the empire. There comes a time when contemplation must give way to action, and when neutrality becomes cowardice. So yeah, they basically, no one likes each other. That's the TLDR here.
Yep, and everybody's hardcore about it too. That's one of the big things about the setting is how hardcore as everybody is.
Yeah.
And well, comment on this now because we've gone through it a lot. pretty much there were three like different schools of thought with regards to Legend of the Five Rings players. The first one was the lore is everything, so everybody hates each other, everybody's incompatible, you gotta be hardcore.
Yeah.
The second one was I just want to do Asian stuff and I don't care.
Yep.
Usually those were the anime fans.
Yeah.
And then the third one was we don't like each other, but we have common threats that we must face together. And those tended to be the more oh god, the Dothraki are attacking mentality players. And that wound up working really well.
Yep, that's the only, in my opinion, the only style that does work in this.
Yeah. Yep.
Because as we go deeper, like all clans are like this. There's instantly different bonuses. Like Crane is all about duels. Phoenix is the best wizards. Blah blah blah. Pretty obvious.
They're all fun too. They're all fun. Like that's one of the things I also want to emphasize is like all of them got so much flavor and stuff and things. And if you read the expansion books, there's even more stuff and things. Like they mentioned the main like Shibabushi school for the Phoenix Bushi. There's other ones underneath the Phoenix. It's just that they're not mentioned here because those are smaller schools.
Oh. And like the techniques also are quite impactful. Like the Phoenix guy, the Bushi is trained in no thought technique and may add their void rank to any attack or damage rolls. So you just add 2 or 3 to anything. They may also spend up to their maximum void points on a single action. So if you really want to succeed, you can just keep using luck. Otherwise, it's one reroll for everyone else. Crazy good, potentially.
Yeah, they're the ones that are just like, I want to take the perfect shot. Like that's the kind of mentality you get when you play a Phoenix Bushi.
Yep. And then you have Scorpions. And so on. So I don't want to go into these, honestly. Like, not really. Like the colors are very something, though. Like you're supposed to. Everyone's supposed to be dressed like this.
Yep. You are supposed to be Twilight Sparkle if you are the unicorn.
Yep.
Like just look at it. Like don't tell me that doesn't make you think of that.
And unicorn also is about mounted combat, actually, which is very situational. Just to put it mildly.
It is. And most players who play a unicorn find every excuse to be a horse, which honestly, like, it makes perfect sense to me. Like,
of course,
it's exactly how it informs the role play.
Yeah.
So I love it.
And
yes, you could be a Ronin Shugenja too.
Yeah, you can be a Ronin, Bushi, or Shugenja, and they just don't get any special thing. You can probably buy it later if you get accepted into a clan, but you better get accepted first. Yep. They do get, I think, something though. Do they not? So hard to read these because they were like glossy pages. It's hard to scan them.
They were glossy pages. Yeah, these were their full color pages.
I guess not. I guess you're just worse. What's the Ronin? What is what it is?
You tend to be worse. The way it usually wound up being played when I was playing this was the advantage was you could learn from anybody if you did good enough stuff for them.
Yep.
You weren't looked down upon for learning something from a dragon and then also a phoenix and then so on.
Yep.
But it took a lot of work to do that. So it had its trade-off.
Yeah, it works. And now we get to mechanics, but I already explained them. There's a few things to explain still. So we talked about dice and rolling. Here's difficulties, static difficulties. So the average difficulty is 10. So on 2 dice, you're expected to make 10 on average, so that's fine. But it goes up like to 45, which you're only expected to make on average if you actually keep 5 dice.
Yep.
Which is still like it kind of shows you like where you are expected to go with characters and how powerful they're supposed to be. Because if you actually do have a character that has a 5 in an attribute and a 10 in a skill, unbelievable feats are like you're expected to 25 is the average if you have that. So you're still expected to, like, even the best character ever isn't going to do unbelievable feats all the time.
Sorry, yeah. Usually you wind up expecting being able to do that scene from The Fugitive every single time, diving safely from a waterfall. Like, that's the most that you can expect to always be able to do if you get the 5 at a trait and 10 in skill.
Yeah. Yep. And as per role, yeah, this is another role. Like there might be magic items or circumstances that give you extra dice. If you are over 10, you keep more dice, but you never roll more than 10 dice. That's hard and fast rule in the system, which I kind of think is cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep, having upper limits that are measurable, but then also at the same time, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to get to 10 dice very quickly.
Yep.
So, it makes sense.
Yep. And we are in a old school vampire initiative system where we roll initiative, then declare actions from lowest to highest, and then resolve them. From like declare from slowest to fastest, resolve from fastest to slowest. Anyone who gets cut down in the process is bad luck. And I explained the raises before. Like if you have a target number 10 for something and you do a 20, you get 2 raises because it's 2 like levels above, right? 2 steps of 5. In combat, that can add extra damage or can do call shots with it, stuff like that. It's automatic. Like if you have raises, you can decide then what you do, which is a neat system. Which you roll first, think about it later, because a lot of games are like, oh, it's harder for you to do the called shot, but if that's your intention, you have to like take the negative to be able to do it. And this system is like, you rolled good. Do you want to do something cool?
Yes, and that's my preferred kind of system these days. Where, you can have the intention in advance of, I want to do a called shot, but if I can't do that, then just hitting him is good enough. Being able to actually be able to say that and then do that, I really like that a lot more these days, because in real life, that's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to punch somebody, like let's just say, punch him in the face. Oh no, I accidentally my fist glanced off of his chin, but he doesn't have like a glass jaw. Oh no, I didn't hurt him as bad as I possibly could. That's what a lower result on a roll is supposed to be. Like,
yep.
It simulates reality actually better when it's like that.
What I like about it is just the quickness of it, because
so quick.
Do you want to do something special with those? Otherwise, it's just extra damage. Okay, we'll make it extra damage. Like roll, like making it keying it off one roll that's unchanging is pretty good, because you are attacking usually. Reflexes times 5 is what you are hitting. So the highest to hit guy is 25. Average would be 10. And you're mostly going to hit 10 on your skill. That's fine. But then you can full defend, in which case you actually roll a defense against the attacker. But you aren't attacking if you do this. And if you have... your school rank determines how good you are at full defense. If you are a school rank 3, you can full defend against 3 dudes at the same time. Which is also why very strong. Like, this is kind of cool, again. Cool outcome. And full attack, you are 15 easier to hit, but also you gain... what does it do?
Reduces your target number to hit your opponent by 10.
Yeah. Reduces your target number to hit by 10, but reduces other people to hit you by 15. So yeah, we are both going to die. Let's go. Bury this game. And then a lot of modifiers.
That happened often in duels in the game where both decided to do that, and as a result, is basically a minus 25 to hit the other guy for both of you. So
Yep.
It was not about if you hit them; it was how badly you cut their head off, which was perfect because it was supposed to be a real samurai duel, so it felt real.
And it's also interestingly done in that if you full attack and the other person's full defense, kind of bad for the full defense because you can't take advantage. You want to take advantage, but if you both full attack, that's a problem. You're both gonna get hit. Oh, it's one of those moments in the anime or the show, the samurai thing, where both just stand there, no defense, and neither attacks because they don't sense an opening.
Yep.
And then we get to wounded, the wounded state. Like the problem with this PDF, by the way, is that the character sheet is just not in it. The scan crops it out for whatever reason. The page is missing, so I can't show it. But basically, you have a wound track. I think it is actually, wait, there was one sheet at one point in here. We can kind of see it there.
This one there was.
Yeah, it's not a full page, but it's it's enough. You see the wound track, right? So if your earth thing is like a 3, you would write 6, 12, 18, oh, it's 6, 6, 6, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 52, 54. And then if you take wounds up to that level, you would have a target number increase to all your actions of 3, 6, blah, 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 until you are out. Down or out or dead. Down is you are unable to fight, but you can still talk and maybe do some simple actions. Out is you are unconscious, and dead is what you would expect it to be.
This is very White Wolf inspired.
Yeah. Also means that you are very quickly becoming less effective in combat as you take wounds.
Yeah.
In all aspects of it, of course, but in combat is the most immediate problem. Here we also see the honor track. So if you have 10 honor boxes, you get 1 level. If you have 10 glory boxes, you get 1 level. And this counts up or down forever as you play. And in the book at the back, only this page is there, which is kind of annoying, but and you can find this character sheet. It's not a big deal. Okay. Back to where we were. Razors, void. Yeah, void is the void explanation. You spend 1 void point per roll, and okay, here. What does it do? A void point equals to your total rank in void, and you may spend these void points in many different ways. Once they are spent, your character will have to regain them through rest, meditation, or heroic efforts of honor. People in Rokugan can occasionally touch the place with the elements, blah blah blah, on spending a void point. Whenever a character is making a roll, you may choose to spend a void point. Spending a void point allows you to roll and keep an extra die on there. So that's how the luck works. You roll and keep extra die.
Yeah, that's what makes it actually advantageous compared to other systems where it's just re-roll. This is roll and keep.
So what the Phoenix fighter could be doing is spending, rolling and keeping 2 or maybe 3 extra dice on 1 attack.
Yep.
Probably acing that attack pretty hard.
Yeah, just the experience that I had with playing this game is that you wanted one guy who was able to do ace in the hole stuff, and it was almost always a Phoenix Bushi who was like the best at doing that, where they were in a shitty situation. Maybe they weren't the most skilled at the thing that they were attempting to do, but it didn't matter because they could blow all their void points and then go meditate for 4 hours and regain all of them.
Yeah. After a night's sleep or after 4 hours of meditation, the character has all of his spent void points restored to him. Yeah. Use combat, so actually were. Healing is realistic. Okay. So he heals the number of wounds equal to his stamina rating. So you heal like 3 or 2 points per day. But there's healing magic, so it's not that big a deal, really. Unlike other systems like this, where there's like they give you realistic healing times, and then are like, well, also there's no healing magic. Good luck playing ever if you get injured.
Yeah. The same systems tend to have wound infection rules too.
Yeah, it's also a thing that's something they don't really do here, thankfully. Where I'm like, yeah, this is realistic because they're probably like, this isn't a hit point system where you have hundreds of points. Even the someone actually 5 in the Earth ring only has like 45 hit points.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, that's a lot of hit points, but it's not like you're going to be on your feet in a week's time, no matter what, more or less. Because we're probably also talking about like real big injury. It's just going to kill you.
Yeah.
So these are not injuries that are actually fatal. These are injuries that are like, yeah, you get a cut and it's going to leave a cool scar or something. And then they give the rules about duels, which is first like Yao Jutsu. It's its own skill. And it's basically the moment in the duel where they stand next to each other and neither has drawn their katana yet. But one will draw their katana faster than the other, and then there's going to be a flash of light, and then one person is going to fall down, probably in 2 pieces. That is kind of how duels are in this. I'm not going to explain the rules too deeply. But essentially, if you do the first strike with Yao Jutsu, and if by some miracle no one's down yet, then you just have a normal combat after that. And it's usually, since it's a duel in this setting, to the death. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they talk about honor and glory next, which is
yeah. Everybody remembers the very antiquated named Oriental Adventures supplement for D&D and how it had an honor system. This is like that, but the best way I can put it is it feels like a combination of that and the corruption rules from Ravenloft.
Yeah.
How if you do bad thing, you get unclean and you become corrupted.
Yeah.
It works in practice and in play. But of course, it is also one of those things where if your players take it way too seriously, nobody has fun.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Also, very importantly, in this one, what the clans care about matters, and you acting according to your clan's lookout on honor matters, and they don't agree at all on what's honorably and not honorably to do. This again where Scorpion of course stands out very hard, because actually the honorable thing of being completely sincere is a minus to them. And betraying someone is a bonus to them.
Yep.
And they don't give a fuck at all about any of this. It's actually kind of strong to be a Scorpion, because there's almost nothing that can lower your honor.
Yeah.
You probably also
pretty
don't
much
have,
why you play one.
you also probably don't have any honor, but that's okay. A Scorpion. Now you're probably actually going to wear somebody else's colors, because look like a Ronin if you're a Scorpion. Because why would you ever like show the fact that you're a scorpion? That's so stupid.
Just never would. And then the opposite of the scale, the lion, they're always going to be showing their colors.
Yeah.
Always. Because everybody thinks, oh, you're the most honorable that ever honorabled. And the reality is you get punched in the ass if you violate anything.
Yeah, it reflects in that if you ever do something dishonorable, you get the most honor minus ever out of all of them. Except Crane for etiquette. If Crane ever burps at the table, Crane is just gonna instantly jump out the window and onto 10,000 swords.
They're gonna self-immolate immediately. Oh god, I burped! Bursts into flames.
Like, they're not gonna make a scene. They're just going to actually just cut their own throat at the table and make sure not to spray any blood anywhere.
They put a ball at the table in front of them first. I just had an intrusive thought. What is Peacemaker from the hit TV show Peacemaker, but a Scorpion clan pretending to be a lion?
Oh god, you're right.
It's so awful, but it's so true. But yeah, this is once again where, yes, the mechanics are such that, oh gosh, it's extremely tied to the setting, but that's why I brought up the Game of Thrones thing. If you just said, well, what if I wanted to do Game of Thrones with this? Oh, yes, you can. Just replace all of those with great houses.
Yeah.
Make, like, the Iron Islands be the odd man out for Scorpion then.
Yeah, the problem...
Like, it's easy.
The problem I have mechanically with Honor is that... So if it was just a number that goes up and down according to your actions, it measures how cool a guy you are in the eyes of your daimyo. That's one thing. But you can do an honor test. You can roll on your honor to not do something that you would otherwise do. Which is just a weird way to go about this. Where, like the example here is that someone gets seduced. They fail a resistance test against it, and then they are going to like do an honor test. The character takes an honor test. He may roll a number of dice equal to his honored rank to beat the target number assigned by the game master. If the roll succeeds, the character resists the temptation and gains an honor point. But if he fails, he loses 10 honor points. The GM should use the source of the temptation when determining target number for the honor test. So, Kuro's player picks up the 2 dice that Kuro has for honor. GM decides to Samurai Co's awareness times 5 for the target number, which makes it a 20. Kuro's player makes a gulping noise and announces he'll be spending a void point. He rolls a 7, 3, and 27. Lucky fucker. Total of 37. What? Oh, you keep all dice. Okay. Kuro successfully resists the samurai's offer and enjoys a cold bed tonight. So, firstly, this guy just spent his fucking anti-coom points to not coom, even though what's really the problem here? Secondly, so if you put your honor at stake like this and you lose it, something bad's supposed to happen, but the game doesn't tell you here, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Because you are basically making a scene about your honor at this point, like role-playing wise. Otherwise, nothing happens, which makes no sense. But they don't tell you about it, which is like one of the times where I say this book kind of misses information.
It does, yeah.
Because how do you lose 10 honor points off of not getting dick? Or getting dick? It must be that then everyone knows that you got the samurai pussy and you shouldn't have, probably. So it's
the sussy.
Yeah, the samurasi, you know. I can only imagine, like before, it might have just been a fling that you have. It might come back later, but now the DM has to make it so that if it happens, everybody knows, and they know you did it, and it's bad for your honor. I don't understand. Also, 10 points means you immediately go down a dice level as well.
Yeah, it does.
This whole thing is kind of a bad rule for me and should not be here. It's because you're just like, oh, I can just have another chance to not do thing I don't want to do, even though I already failed every roll that I could make to not do it. Sometimes you just have to accept that it's bad, guy. The outcome is bad, and the bad outcome in this case is getting some puss. So what's so bad about it? But anyway,
yeah, I don't like the rule. Like, basically, like, wound up just basically saying we can't do this. We just can't do this at all. Like this rule here just doesn't make it more fun. I think that was the conclusion we had come to way back in the day.
Yeah, because you can farm this up like in roleplay probably pretty easily, and worrying about the number at all times is also going to be annoying because like multiplayer, worrying about this chart by amount of players.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And I also realized it instantly. Like, let's say you have a crab and a crane in the same party. Bad idea as that might be. The crab is going to be not polite, and the crane is going to stand there and be like, you are making me lose face. Stop. I'm losing honor because you are being a dick. And the crab's going to be like, I don't know how to act. I'm going to eat this big turkey leg with both hands. You can't stop me. And then the crane is going to be -1 honor box or whatever by association. And everyone hates each other at the table instantly because you can't really cram the actions into this box, into the honor box if the honor is like different. And then the scorpion is just going to laugh all the way to the bank as they just,
That's the other thing is that like you just look at this table and then you realize the scorpion stands to benefit by undermining his team every time, and that does not work well for like ongoing role play. It works well if you have a role player who's just like, yes, I'm supposed to be a spy maintaining my cover, but if you're playing with anybody who likes numbers, which you're playing a tabletop game, of course you like numbers, that falls away at some point. It always does inevitably.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make for better roleplay. It doesn't make for better anything. It just makes for, all right, well, I'm the one guy who's the dick. And yes, Cypher exists in the movie The Matrix, but nobody says that you should roleplay him.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stuff about being clean, only doing things like that are clean, only eating the right food, washing yourself and so on. Which is also obviously like all a thing that is a phase that can easily fall away if you're in the thick of things. And you lose honor if someone sees you do things that are not clean, which is also like, I don't care. Like, this is the point where I can say I do not care to this level, and I wouldn't want to do this as DM either.
Yeah.
What's more interesting, but also kind of overdone, is the glory thing, where if you do cool shit in the setting, you are going to earn glory, and glory is basically how known you are. So if your team does like just things that are glorious, that you do a big win for your daimyo or whatever, you gain glory, and then you have the glory, and then it's just cool. You're just a cool guy then, I guess. And this can be advantageous because you gain, of course, renown from this. Is basically your renown. You gain societal bonuses from this. If you are really known for being like for having avenged the blood feud and being a good craftsman and defeating a bunch of high-level enemies, you are going to get rewarded for that. And that's how you're supposed to gain like monetary rewards basically in the game. You're of course not supposed to ask your daimyo for anything. They're supposed to show that you are a cool guy, and then you're gonna get rewarded for it. And then if you are Ronin, you might get into someone's employ this way.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how that's supposed to work.
Yep. Mm-hmm. This is exactly the system where this actually winds up being more fun for Ronin than for anybody else, because the idea of earning glory and then basically using it in a meaningful way. Like, how do you use it in a meaningful way if you serve your daimyo? You generally don't, as much as you would like to, because you're supposed to ask them for gifts. But if you're a dirty, rotten Ronin, of course you're going to take advantage of the situation and ask a leading question like, so I hear your school has the finest of Masters of the Void. Where do they train? Could I interact with some of them? Like, you have your leading way of doing that, but if you're serving your daimyo and you're doing it correctly, you're not supposed to do that. So, yeah.
Yep. And then you can also, like, if you were losing glory, you can roll to not lose that much glory by role-playing about it. Like, you're making apologies for your bad actions, which is I have way less of a problem with that, because I got drunk in public, I fucked up, I'm gonna have to apologize, and then that apology is gonna save my face. That's more interesting because it's a role-playing action, while above the honor it just feels like gaming the mechanics a lot more.
Yeah, glory is more interesting in this system, way more interesting. If you play your dragon who goes around town threatening to kill everybody, and then you apologize afterwards, it's it's got a good system to go with it.
Yeah.
Winks at Sundered.
And weapons are very simple in this game, as we're going to see this. They have a code of XKY. With Katana, simple example, we roll 2 dice and we keep 2 dice of damage.
Yeah.
But that is without strength. Strength adds to the first number.
Yeah.
So if I have 3 strength, I would 5k2. I would roll 5 dice and keep the highest 2. I do believe that 10s explode here as well, or do they not?
I could have sworn that they do.
Yeah,
because that's the only way that you can, quote unquote, get critical strikes with this.
Yeah. On the special weapons. He rolls on the die and keeps it receiving or 10 if he gets one. No, it's not special. Okay, yeah. Rerolling 10s. Yep. So you and that's weapons. We just explained them. It's very simple. Sometimes
so simple.
With bows, the damage comes from the arrow. They have a lot of special arrows in this, which is cool.
It's very good for people who want to do archery.
Here's your ninja / peasant weapons, which just have no. A lot of them keep dice like normal, but they don't add. Like they don't have inherent dice that you get, which is also a good way to like. This is actually one of the best simple weapon systems ever.
Yes, it's so good.
Because special rules might be in the weapon itself. Like
the GT has a good one.
Yeah. Disarming someone with a GT, you only have to make 2 raised instead of 3. Cool. Yeah. Or bow. It's hard to use against armor. They increase the TN by 10 instead of 5. And 15 instead of 10 because it's harder to hit them. Because armor actually gives you makes you harder to hit as well, like kind of. So you can be does it actually even give armor anywhere here? Don't remember. Just later, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a good system because it's very, very simple. Like, I understand this code. So an easy code to understand. Then you have like special ability in the text. That's all you need for most of this. Like ranges from bows. Yeah, who cares really, right?
Yeah, this is one of those games where they're just like, this is narrative. If you're caring about long distance, then just make the target number higher. Like, that's seriously it.
Yeah. And bows have a fixed strength of 2 for the purpose of damage.
Yep.
Which is
They did not do composite bows. They just did not. So.
Yep. This is why ranged combat is usually not that deadly. It is just like you're not going to die yourself because you're out of range of stuff. I'm sure the armor was somewhere, but did we just...
Maybe we posted
weapon classes. Oh, I think it might just be in a completely different area of this.
Yeah, knowing the organization from this year.
Yeah, and then we get into spell research and then we're gonna get into spells. And spells is kind of, we're playing Last Airbender, but everyone could potentially learn every element, basically.
Oh yeah, it basically is. Yeah.
You have particular forms that you know, and you can more or less use them, I believe, freely. I guess not really like some sort of resource you spend. But casting time is the thing. Mastery 3 level would take 3 actions to cast. Like you magic isn't instant in this. Magic is like more ritual based and stuff.
Yeah, it's way more ritualistic. It's way more, you wave your ofuda around and you dance and you gesticulate a lot. It's sort of like, this is a terrible comparison. Forgive me, everybody. It's sort of like M. Night Shyamalan's take on The Last Airbender, where somebody had to do something really elaborate and then make one rock move. Like, it's sort of like that.
Yeah.
But it does get stronger the more stronger you get. So it's there's a payoff to like, you taking forever moving one rock.
Yep. You won't start with the really strong stuff, but you can get really strong in this as a caster. Okay, we have been talking for 2 hours about the system. So now I'm going to talk about why I ultimately never played it. And the reason for that is that for a long time I didn't have the DM guide. That's one thing.
Oh yeah.
Because it just wasn't in the store I was going to. But the more important thing is, even before I put this in front of my friends, I was never able to, in my brain, think, okay, if one person makes a lion, another person makes like a unicorn, I can kind of put them in a group. They have different leaders, but I could do something. But then there's just combinations of characters that would be very common. Because someone would be like, I want to play a crab. That's cool. I want to be the armored tank of the group. And then another person would be the crane, and then you're like, okay, that already doesn't work. They would just fight each other because that's kind of the duel thing. And then there's the DM. I would be left to be like, no, you can't duel. The daimyo says no, and then the characters in game still don't like each other though. It's kind of that's what it boils down to me. It's like, how do you play this as written? And then you go into the DM guide, and this is like kind of why I wanted to do this book, because I found these books, and then in the DM guide 153 talks about the open campaign.
Yep.
If you have like the Matsudathika and Idle Courtier and Ishawa Void Shugaya and the Kaiju Engineer, how do you make that a bureaucracy? And the answer is, it's hard. Maybe don't do that. Basically, that it gives you. It doesn't really tell you what to do. It just tells you, it's hard. Like, you have to do a lot of work. And I'm asking what work? And then in the closed campaign, which is the other option that they give you, it's like you tell them what to make. But it's still not clan bound, and that's my problem. Unless these are all crab people, grab people, then they will butt heads constantly, all the time.
Mhm.
So what do I do about that? Because everything in the setting tells you, man, you work, your daimyo is your everything. You work for your daimyo or whoever, like intermediate you directly like answer to, and they answer to your daimyo, and their word is law to you, and they provide you food and your lodging and your everything because it's all theirs.
Mhm.
So you would never betray them, and that goes for everyone. So
Everyone,
how
universally,
how in the heck is it a party then? What do we do?
yeah.
And then you're right, Drake. The only way to do it is to do the big external threat. Like
Yep.
you put these characters together against the big external threat.
Yep.
And that's fun once. And that's the end of it.
That's one campaign because the big external threat is the Shadowlands.
Yeah.
Like, you can try to come up with other ones like, oh no, the Portuguese are finally here. But that doesn't really work for very long either. Because then eventually you take their guns and you shoot them. Like, this, you know where it goes also. It's very predictable where that goes. So you wind up having to do something else where the external threat is something that has to be also from within. Like, you have to get really detailed about it. But the problem with that is then it relies on every single player knowing the lore on an intimate enough level for you to be able to pull that off.
Yep.
And that's one of the hardest things about this setting is if you want to just play this game as I know nothing, please just let me play sword samurai game, you are not going to have as much fun. You just aren't.
And
Because
then,
this is the one where you do need to know something.
yeah. And then half the lore is in the DM guide. This is insane. Like,
Yeah.
it goes so far. Let me find that. I talked about the GIB map not having like a legend or names on it initially. Oh look, Land of the Crab with like labeled cities, and then you can look up what it is.
Cock and Ball 16, Cock and Ball 10, Cock and Ball 14, yeah.
Like, issue with this, obviously, a crab would know what the fucking towns in the crablands are.
Yeah, right away.
So why is it in here?
Yeah. It also answers the question. One of the questions is like, where did your character go to school? Oh, I came from Yasuki Yoshiki. The place that used to be a crane stronghold, but now it's a crab stronghold. That's why I have some sort of. That's why a lot of cranes don't like me because I lived in one of their ancestral homes. Like, immediately creates a character, but you have to know that shit. You have to.
Yep.
And the DM, even if they just handed this to you, you're not going to know what to do with it either. That's the other problem.
Yeah.
Being able to find the thread is actually kind of hard. Like, it's sort of like taking let's just say a modern nation, like giving somebody a picture of Ethiopia and then saying, where would your character come from if they were Ethiopian? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do? Look at like travel brochures for 10 cities? No, you can't do that realistically. So, yeah.
And then we see with Crane, like with Crab, at least it's all like along the border here, right? You kind of know where Crab lives. But with Crane, it's basically random towns in the north and the south that are just the crane towns. Mostly in the south, it's like along the coast.
Yeah.
But in the north, it's just basically this place, and then some mountainous places here. And how are you supposed to know that that's crane territory? But it's feudal, so obviously, like, they own it as feudal territory, sure. But you didn't know that off of the map. You could have assumed that they all live in the capital or something. And then Dragon just lives in the mountains or near them or whatever, around this one volcano. You didn't know that either. You just kind of knew. And then Lion is here. And you even like have to play a little bit of spot the place on the map, because do you know immediately where this is? Like, here's the volcano, so this is Dragonland, and then Where's this?
Where's this? Where's
two
that?
small forests. It's probably this area here.
Uh-huh.
But like, it's annoying. Label your
It's
map.
very annoying.
Phoenix Land and Scorpion Land for some reason. Like, I guess they didn't lose it in the war, even though there was a war.
Unicorn. And of course, for me, I love all this lore. I really dig it. It's just that how useful is this? How interfaceable is this? How can I interface with this as a player? And the answer is you just can't. You have to read both books. And even then, you have to retain it. And it's really hard to retain a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. And then there's stuff like where you suddenly like, oh, there's ogres and trolls and goblins in this area? What?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me that in this book at all? I guess maybe mentioned like that there's Oni and stuff once somewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't really concern itself with that. And it's like, there's information that I think people would know about.
Yep, they would know about it and they would like take it into account in their daily lives.
Yep.
That's the other thing. It's just like, where in the core player's book does it say, and the people of this clan deal with goblin attacks regularly and blah, blah, blah. It never does that. It just doesn't.
Yeah. Mantis Rand. And you have regions, which are like, where are they? Sorrow's Path. Okay, I guess there's some like labeled on the previous things somewhere. Maybe?
Yeah, it just gets more confusing.
You know, it just gets way more confusing because it's also a... Like, is there a map at some point about the regions? Yeah, it says no. Oh, wait. No, wait. I know. It's the big map. Like here, look. K-I-Q. Like, I used to think, is this a fucking... Where's Waldo? Where's the region A?
Yeah.
It's probably up here because... Like,
it is actually up top. You see, your mouse cursor is right by it.
Oh yeah,
you just went past it. It's concealed by the mountains because it looks like one of the mountains.
So it just goes from A to this goes down, and then you have to JJ and stuff. Because they didn't do AB at least, because that would have been insane. But also then we're ending at AAAA. Really, guys? Let's put the name. Wouldn't it have been that hard to be like, oh, this is the mountain pass of soul sucking? Sure, it would be a long thing to put here, but we already have an unlabeled map, so just label it. I don't know.
Exactly.
Like, some decisions are pretty baffling. And again, all of this information would be information your players have or should be able to have. It's not like, surely it is known that, what was the name of this pass?
The Sorrow's Path.
The Sorrow's Path is in the north. Why wouldn't that be known? So couldn't be possibly be like hidden from everyone. So
and not just even by Unicorn, but by like everybody, because that's the path that the Unicorn took to come back. Like, there's just so many things that you will be asking the DM constantly. Should my character know this? Should my character know this? Should my character know this? It will get annoying very quickly because this is one of those settings where, yes, information would be compartmentalized to some degree, but you don't know to what degree, because what character did you roll? Oh, I rolled this character who's a scorpion, but they only did spy campaigns against the cranes. So then it's a Kaizo Mario puzzle to figure out what exactly that character would know and wouldn't know, and that's painful. That's just painful. Like, that's because the information would be sectioned off. Way too much.
And then you have more information about like living in this place, which is again information that the players would have. Like, we're talking about village life and shit in this chapter.
Talking about measuring time. Like, measuring time is something that's a core player thing. Like,
explaining how seppuku works. Like, it baffles me, because if you aren't already weeabooing out of your brain before you buy this book, you would need this information. So why is it in the DM guide? Like, why? It's so weird.
It is really weird. It's
Like, make a setting guide then. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so like the best games from this era, I'm going to talk about the late 90s specifically because this is really where it came out of. The best settings of that era, they would do like 3 books. They would do a player's guide, a Dungeons Master guide, then a campaign setting guide. They would do like 3 things. And sometimes the DM's guide and the campaign setting guide were put together. Yeah, I get that. That's why like this is like this. But the best ones separated them for the core reason of, hey, would you like to know more? That's the meme. That's exactly what the meme is. Would you like to know more?
Yeah.
And a lot of people considered that book optional in so many circumstances because the player's book and the Dungeons Master's book is just enough. Just enough. But then the campaign setting guide is supposed to give you that the would you like to know more? And even here, like they don't give the full picture. Like, and I know they don't.
Yeah. And here's stuff like sensing magic. This would be knowledge to anyone who plays a magic character. Magic can be sensed. And more powerful magic can be sensed a further distance. You wouldn't necessarily
you wouldn't know this until you saw this.
Yeah. It's not mentioned in the players section. Spell research rules are kind of doubled up, but also not really. And you need a lot of you need insight levels. This is information the DM would have, I suppose, but it's also like kind of, why wouldn't the players get to know? Or you want to learn a level 5, invent a level 5 spell? I guess you need 226 insight for that. Like DM would just tell you. Why wouldn't you just tell the player? Who cares? Like, it's not a secret. It's just a game mechanic.
Yeah.
And then GM clan material. Like, we have to go to page 103 to arrive at game master information. And even that is like arguably stuff players might know.
Because like adding rumors and stuff, that is an essential part of playing a character in a setting that is supposed to be built on intrigue. This is an intrigue setting. You should have rumors. You should have, well, why did the Naga wake up? Well, here's 5 theories. Like, that's how it should be. It should whet the appetite of the player and entice them. It shouldn't be, oh, here you go, DM, only you know. Only you know the rumor that the Crane Emperor is crazy. Like, come on.
Yep. I like the creature stats because they're pretty easy.
I really like how everything is the 4 elements, and then if they have a stat that's higher than that element, they just list it.
Yep.
I
don't understand what the bear wounds mean. Wounds per level 35 plus 1 die, 60 dead. Like this I understand because it's like I guess at 35 he gains a die. At 35 he gains plus 1 die.
He goes berserk.
An extra die. Yeah, so bear essentially fights at full strength until it dies, and so does a badger, because they happen to be kind of the same. This plus 5 at 16 wounds, but still fights. Plus 1 is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Okay, I get it.
A lot of them are like this. Constrictor snake. 20, 40.
So like the boar, for example, at 18 wounds gets a plus 5 to everything.
And this is a plus 5 difficulty, not a plus 5 bonus. Just to be clear, this is a body.
It is plus 5 TN. You're right. Yeah.
12 plus 5, 24 plus 10, 36 dead. So not all of these have the same wound numbers as the players, which is fine.
I like that actually a lot. I like that a lot.
And this is very concise. You can easily like write this down.
This is what I refer to as 3x5 index card like style statting, which is why I gave props to that game that had too much AI art. In fact, only AI art.
Oh god, yeah, fuck that game.
Yeah.
And these are actually Earth 2. Like, interestingly, is for example the Ox, right? Stamina 6, Earth 2. A player would have times 4, but your Oxers get extra points. So essentially, what they are telling you here, and it's only like 3-4 pages of monsters, or okay, 6 pages. But they're telling you is that you can make it up for creatures if you want to, and this is like kind of examples, which is fine. They don't all have to follow the rules of the player characters, and that's perfectly okay.
I love that. It's more and more systems like, okay, the player character should be complicated because it's one guy running it. But the NPCs, they don't have to be. They just don't.
Yep.
It's good.
Yeah. And here we start with the info, like again, page 110-ish. It's actually DM information. The Shadowland stuff should probably not be like, even your crab character probably isn't like a super veteran of the Shadowlands, so they shouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah, and it even has the Maho spells, which are basically Shadowlands magic.
Yep. And then stuff like this, which is fine. But yeah, the problem again is, how do you make a group in this? It just seems impossible.
It's almost impossible. Like, this is the kind of thing where they mentioned adventure themes. They go through all that. They talk about karma and stuff, but like, they don't say at any point how group work. They just don't. They don't like lay it out and then give like 5 examples.
Yeah.
Because they should.
Because the converse thing is also, the other way to do group would be, we are all crabs. And why is that boring? Well, we are all supposed to act the same then.
We're all supposed to go to the same school and eat the same food and wear the same clothes. And
yeah, it's like that is so boring that no one would want to do it. Because
it's so brain dead.
Yeah, we are all snooty cranes. We are all like, we love our drawing our sword and being very cool. And then you out cool one another, I guess, and you don't do anything. Because it's your cranes, but then whatever you pick, you're all playing the same guy. Because, sure, you can pick like different disadvantages and be slightly different, but mechanically you have the same fighting or the same spells. You can, I guess, later on learn different spells, but at the start, the spells are actually set for each of the Bushi, I believe, except I think for Phoenix. Phoenix can choose. And also, more importantly, you would then all have the same master who can just tell you what to do. There's no conflict at all because you all want to do it because you want to be a good cog in the machine, because that's what this game is about. So there is not really role-playing potential in resisting anything. It's just like, yes, we were sent by our master to deal with the problem of this village. What is the problem of this village? Oh, there's ogres in the hills. I guess we will go kill them. And you go kill them, and then it's the adventure. And then you gain like some honor and some glory, and it's boring as fuck.
So boring. Like, this is the one game where there's either maximum conflict or none.
Yeah.
And that's wrong. Like, it shouldn't be that way. It should not. Yeah, there's no potential to do. I'll compare to everybody's favorite Lord of the Rings. You can't do Gimli and Legolas in this because Gimli and Legolas, dwarves and elves, they hate each other. They're completely different peoples, blah, 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 blah. But they didn't like go to war with them last year. They have ancient enmities, but they realize, hey, there's value in working together, even if there's just a pack of orcs and we aren't going to go fight Sauron right now. They've realized value in that.
Yeah.
But here, how does the Unicorn Man realize the value in fighting next to the Crab Man against the Crane Rebels? How does he recognize that? He can't. It just doesn't. It isn't there because Crabman is going to say that sounds like a them problem, and Unicorn Man is going to say, "I'm going to go ride my horse. Goodbye."
Yeah, so you have to come up with the external threat or some sort of Death Watch style, like 40 going in the 40k direction, Inquisition style organization where they're like, well, we send certain people of ours towards this organization to earn glory for us solving some problems that we have.
Yeah,
like go into the mountains there and get rid of the bandit king.
Yeah.
Why can't the locals do it? Well, the area is contested between 3 clans, which is why the bandits are there in the first place. We want this cleaned out. And then, even then, you're going to have like a guy from one of those clans be like, ooh, maybe I can get it to be like our land at the end of it. And that's intrigue, but only that guy will care because the other clans aren't even from there. Like it's
go to the school, man.
Yeah. And ultimately, this is the problem, I feel like, of this being based on a card game.
Yeah.
Because they have to adhere to their law that they wrote for the card game.
They do.
And the law is obviously probably written for 1v1 opposition combat in some way. Where you either fight another clan or even your own clan. And whoever loses is the rebel, I guess.
Yeah.
And that works. Then this all works. Then being like, yeah, Crab is strong. Crab has big armor. Unicorn ride horse. Scorpion does poison and whatever. And Phoenix is magic, guys. And that's different ways you can play the game. Okay, cool. But if you throw them all into a big pot and tell them to work together, it doesn't work, obviously.
It just doesn't.
It's not written to work like that.
No. And they're written to be opposition intentionally.
Yeah. And this is where I'm like, so they didn't write a way to them to work together really. Because I don't think they knew either.
I don't think they did.
Like, again, best I have is to be like, well, there is a certain organization that is beholden to the emperor directly. If you get put into that organization, you are no longer beholden to your daimyo. You are beholden to the emperor, and the emperor can tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And the problem with that would be that each character would probably still be beholden to the daimyo secretly.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Because only Lion would be like, yes, it is a big honor to be in this organization. I am Lion. I don't think. I only eat hot chip and honor.
And drink honor. Yes. You have to roleplay Worf at that point, but the problem is that Worf was a conflicted character.
Yeah.
Who kept spouting about honor, and this game expects you not to be Worf. You can't be Worf. Because if you're playing Worf, then you married that silly crane lady with tattoos all over herself. Why would you do that, you silly lion? Why would you do that? And it just goes downhill from there.
And this is again, like they needed something that it can't be on the DM to come up with to unite these parties, and they just didn't write it.
No.
And this is, I think, a big reason why the whole, like, it is a bit of a meme in the role-playing circle that I'm in, at least, about, like, shouting about honor and calling for duels all the damn time. Because I think that is the logical outcome of the unprepared DM throwing 5, like, Wushi into an adventure and expecting that to just work normally. And it doesn't. Because the players have read the book, and it's enough for one player to be that guy and say, but my character would lose honor. I don't want to lose honor. So now I will call for a duel with this person. And then that person happens to be a quest giver or a player character or an important NPC who the DM probably didn't even intend to give offense with.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it all devolves super quickly into this PvP infighting at the table, or breaking the DM's like adventure wide open because you just killed somebody who was supposed to give you a clue or something.
Yeah.
It's
when you just want to play your silly weeb game. Like that's the reason why I mentioned the second kind of player is just like, but I'm just here for weeb game.
Yeah.
Because that's how a lot of people were when I was presented this to them, and I got it. I understood. Hey, I get it. I get what you want here, but it's you read any of the lore, then you stop doing that. It's
the weep game party can probably thrive in the external threat. Oh, the big bad is coming campaign.
really well, yeah.
You can only run that once because then it's another big bad next week. That's boring. Like we know we are doing Power Rangers.
Yeah, we're just doing Power Rangers at that point. And this is not a game that is designed for you to be fighting larger than life things every week. This is a game where you're supposed to play samurai guy and go do samurai guy things. Like, this is honestly almost like a Cyberpunk 2077 problem. You aren't supposed to actually take down a mega corporation in Cyberpunk 2077, but they keep pushing that at you, that's the thing that has to happen. Here, it's very similar. Well, we have to go take down Fu Lang because Fu Lang has returned. Yeah, but what about my cousin and the guy she just married, and like the fact that he's beating her? I need to go and protect her because my honor. Like, just the game is just supposed to be about samurai guy, but you're supposed to also have the external threat to unite everybody. But external threats in this kind of setting are always larger than life. They just always are.
Yeah.
So it all conflicts top to bottom. And you have to at some point do what characters in the setting do, where they simultaneously want to maximize their honor, but they simultaneously can't ask for anything. So, you have to think both ways simultaneously. I don't like it. It's just, it hurts.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sure people exist to really like this game and who played this a lot and who make it work. But as a game, it falls on too many, it falls into too many pitfalls of, the DM has to figure this out. You need to like it. Like also, again, the Naga, right? There's combined 10 pages about those guys. There can be a snake dude, and nowhere does it explain exactly what that means.
Yeah.
Like the most explanation you get is that they mechanically have this and that fighting style. If we find them in the character creator. Yeah.
Yep.
Like here's your ranks, here's your stamina. You don't get honor because you're not in the honor system, which is immediately also so I can just be murdered then because I look like a green snake dude. Yeah, I guess. Because you don't have honor. You don't matter. To nobody else do you matter. So do you play Snake? Well, you probably don't want to do that. No. But also you have your magic casters are kind of cool, I guess. Like, it's so strange.
Yep, it's just, there's so much more I could say about that, but what I'll say is my personal experience. I did have fun playing this, but I can't tell you that it was Legend of the Five Rings that I played because we had to play it so differently all the time that it stopped being Legend of the Five Rings. It had to be something else. It was wearing the skin suit of it. That's how that is. Modern everything is way more suited to 5 people showing up and playing characters from Peacemaker than showing up and playing 5 characters who are each beholden to a different daimyo. Because we don't live in a feudal society at all.
Yeah.
I say ironically. But the point is that none of us are going to talk about the guy that we swore fealty, who is our landlord, in real life. None of us do that. So the expectation that we play these characters who do that, and that they're all supposed to work together, feels anachronistic.
Yeah. And also, again, you are so right that it feels like, we are supposed, like the whole book tells you to worry very much about all the little aspects of this. And then the game as a whole you have to ignore most of them. You have a game. That's just not a good combination, because one of these should have then changed, clearly. And you can't change the one that is where we don't ignore the little details, because if we don't ignore them, then everybody is dueling each other instantly, or trying to call for that at least.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the most important parts of this, is this, like, when you are doing it wrong, everything feels better, but you're still doing it wrong with this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's not a good feeling. That's not a good way to do things.
That is why, even if it's like, I like this book as a read, and I like the system they made. I think the system is really clean. I think the swinginess of it is not terrible, because they do give you some ways to alleviate it, and it's ultimately like, yes, you can roll 5 10s in a row, but that's like an unlikely scenario. It's going to happen. You're going to have a cool moment as a character.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's fine. That's okay. And as DM, if I rolled 5 10s against somebody and about to just kill him, I would probably just not do that.
Like, yeah, exactly.
I would just say I didn't roll 5 10s. I rolled a 10 and an 8 or something. It's still a bad hit, but you're not dead immediately. Right? Mm-hmm. Because crits ultimately always benefit the DM more mechanically. Because you can just send 10 more guys in after the 10 guys who just died, where the players cannot. And yeah, what was I getting at? Like, yeah, it's I don't know. It's just a sad set of affairs that this cool game is kind of unplayable as written. And kind of much like the Alien RPG, they just either didn't know what to do, so didn't write it, or they just didn't write it because somehow they think this can work in a mixed party. Where I
feel like it's that, yeah.
Like, I struggle to imagine how you would even get a mixed party to form at all. Sure, in a one-shot where it's like, in a one-shot where, like, well, you're all in this tavern and then it gets attacked by bandits. Sure, they're going to fight the bandits. And then they're going to, like, band up together to fight the bandit chief because that guy taunted them earlier and said they all piss in buckets or something. And then he besmirched their honor, so now they have to kill him. But after that, they each have their daimyo to go to. They each probably have some sort of mission they are on to be in the tavern in the first place.
They have a wife to go home to.
Yeah, something. They have myriad obligations that you half your book is about that they have to follow. That makes them not be together as characters after this one encounter. So maybe the best one I got is, because they fought the Bandit King, they became really famous together, and then they're gonna get put together by their daimyos again when the time comes, like 6 months later, to do something other cool thing or something.
Yep.
That might be how you'd make it work for like a short campaign or something. Yeah. But again, this is all like nothing of this is in the book. I have to imagine these solutions as the player. I use the game with them. And that's bad because your game is supposed to be a game out of the box that people can just play.
Yeah.
And like the DM isn't supposed to have the headache about that on their plate while also making up the story.
Yep. Effectively, what wound up having to happen was everybody played like a lower tier noble samurai. And why did this work? Because everybody was a third son. You're a fourth daughter. You're basically somebody who isn't going to be inheriting the estate when daddy passes.
Yeah.
So you're out there trying to make a name for yourself while your brother is back at home learning how to be the next lord. Like, We had to do it the strict medieval way.
Yeah, and that honestly would have been a thing they could have easily written into this, but didn't.
Yes,
and they're like,
they just didn't.
Okay, the point of most young like nobles of higher houses, like they have lots of kids in there. They have concubines and stuff. The father has like 20, 30 children.
Yep.
And he does not care about most of them. And the ambition of most of these children is to be the favored child and inherit. And to do that, they have to do cool shit. They have to make a name for themselves. They have to fight evil and be larger than life so that they earn the respect of everybody and earn the glory that they need to be like househead or something, or do whatever they want. Like if they want to be a Shugenja, then you also only get cool spells if you show that you are like capable of doing cool shit with them. And even that, we've spent the last 40 minutes making up reasons like that are not in the book for how you could make this work, when the book should have told you there's 2 or 3 of them.
Yep. That's why when I say I played this game, I did. But did I actually play this game?
Yeah.
Because I didn't. The motivations we came out with were not written in the book. The reasons why we were together at all not written in the book.
Yeah.
We had to reach into our knowledge of how medieval society worked in order to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's just tiresome. It's just so tiresome.
And I want to end this discussion on exactly where I'm like, oh my god, okay, we are talking about this, because in the open campaign section of the DM guide, after telling you what do you do when you have all these different guys in here, we are not telling you not to play this sort of campaign, but be prepared to do a lot of work and be flexible when you run one. Gee, thanks, book. Thanks for telling me that it's going to be hard, and then basically not talking about it further, because none of this is about... You could have PCs play relatives, which is, they're in the same clan, aren't they? Then it's not interesting. The magistrate game is not ideal either. Don't force them to play magistrate just because it suits your campaign. If you run an open campaign, remain open, go with what you players decide to do. How? Like, you see? It's just weird. That is, oh my god. Like... And encourage your players to adjust your character process concept slightly. Yeah, that's fine. Like if it fits your campaign, if you can say, instead of being like the disgraced noble, could you just be the disgraced rich son or something? It's something you might say to any player in any game. And in this case, yeah, sure, you can slightly adjust, but doesn't mean they aren't from different clans and immediately headbutting. It's just, and then again, the closed campaign that they tell you, you won't have, like, you will have the character classes you want. Yeah, that's cool. But these are still potentially 5 different clans that are immediately gonna butt heads again. It doesn't tell you at all how to make that work, ever.
Doesn't leave you so alone, so very alone, and. Like we could have named this whole review "Why You Should Have a Session 0."
Yep.
Just realized that, because that's exactly it. This is everything we're talking about. That's why you have a Session 0. And my perspective on all this is just, I can play this, but will I really be playing it? No, I won't be, because I'll be doing something that is from my knowledge, nothing that the book gave me. Which, that's bad. Like, the book should give me everything I need.
Yep.
It just should.
And then, this is the most Session 0 game ever, and then the compromise section is also really something. I want to read this out, and then we can talk about at least the most favorite. Nothing is worse than a party in which one player, whose character is killing peasants at an alarming rate, implying that there's a non-alarming rate for peasants to be killed, and the others have to sit back and watch their honor ratings plummet because they can't get him to stop, and they don't want to be forced to kill another PC. Okay, but this game is all about that. While one player is free to do what he wants in this situation, it is at the cost of other players' integrity, and the role-playing is being compromised. Rather than meeting on a common ground between characters, the players are in extreme camps that refuse to budge, and that is no way for a team to get along. When one player begins to pollute the cord that binds the PCs together, it is time to cut the strand and set the PC adrift on a raft in the ocean. What the fuck is this chapter?
What is this language?
This is horrendous advice.
Huh.
This is horrendously bad advice for a DM. Like, yeah, okay, kick out the player, that's a problem. Sure, but write that.
All right.
Like, write that like it is. Now, don't act like the guy killing peasants and the other guys who don't want that to happen are equally as important and have integrity. It's weird. Like, if your campaign is about killing the peasants of the enemy, then suddenly peasant killing is super cool, by the way, in this game.
Yeah.
We're at war. Let us murder some villagers, I guess, because they are from the other clan. Let's deprive them of their ability to have carpenters by killing the carpenter here. Yeah, that's actually... Is it honorable? It's not dishonorable. You're at war. Right? So... Waggles, that's a good question. Did these guys ever actually play a game? Like, and what they say here, like... All of this is terrible. This is a terrible little section. This whole DM advice page. How to run a game. And then, that's funnily enough, the whole how to run a game section too. It's all of it. It's 2 pages. Sure, then there's adventure themes and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But the basic, how do I even get players on the same boat at all, section is too short, and doesn't contain any useful information.
It just doesn't. It just doesn't at all. And that's just these kinds of games. They can be so good. They can have so much potential, and you can even have fun playing them. But you're not playing their game that they wrote, though. That's the big takeaway. Kind of like, old school Gamma World. That was a lot of fun. You could play it that way out of the box. You could do that a couple of times, but then eventually you need to not be playing what's in the box. And in this case, you have to not use what's in the box immediately. Mm-hmm. You have to think of something.
Yep. Okay. I think that's enough. Drake.
I think it's enough.
What is your Sergeant Flea's favorite thing? What this? Well, it's we just ragged on the whole it isn't playable for like an hour, so let's not pick that.
We won't. No, we won't. My least favorite thing about this is the bifurcation. Either you play Lofty Noble of Big Clan, or you play Little Peasant.
Yeah.
There's not any room between. There just isn't. And I argue this is the kind of game where you want to focus more on the in-between. Have the Ronin have 10 pages of options. Have Mantis Clan have a full write-up along with 8 other minor clans.
It's actually also mine. I just want to phrase it differently. If I make a samurai bushi of a clan, they are all the same. If there's 2 crab bushi in my party, they will differ by very little mechanically. Yep. That's not great. Like they're both gonna have the same training. They're both gonna get the same training later on. They might differ by like a few skill points and maybe a stat point. That's it. And advantages, disadvantages, which are okay. They are impactful in this, but it's still not really a lot. I'm sure this game has like expanded crab books where you can get more crab information and fighting styles. But for a game that is giving you like a shit ton of information, the character class is actually very like bare bones. Trying to get there, right? If I will have +1 stamina as a crab bushi. I will have 1 honor and 5 boxes somehow. I will have these skills. I will have this skill, and I have 30 points to distinguish myself from the other player who chose crab bushi.
Yep.
It's actually the game, I would argue, where you could most easily and funnily run like a twins kind of thing, where we are both crab bushi and we are identical, because it feels like, why wouldn't you? Because you're basically identical anyway.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
But again, like, because it's like basically 5 things you write down, or 5 ranks of thing, it's very easy probably to make more of these and to come up with more in additional books that we don't have here right now.
Oh yeah.
Wait, why is this TM guide thing? Oh, it's just reused art. Okay.
Yeah, just reused
I
art.
realized it's the same picture. I was like paged over it. Okay, Drake, what's your favorite thing about this game?
Oh, I love this fucking art. Like,
The art
I didn't
is-
even comment on it.
Yeah, we didn't say much about the art, but I agree, it's really good. The art in this is
The art actually
right.
is immersive. The art is actually popping.
Yeah.
And I like their sigils too.
Yeah, and they spurged for having colored art in the middle of the book, which is like for this time, 2000s, not common, and it cost them a pretty penny to do.
It really did. But yeah, it's very immersive. Like how they make each of the different clans look, even their posture and so on, like tells you a lot about what kind of people these people are.
Yep.
What, like, if you tried to map it 1-to-1 onto Japan, what sort of Japanese people would they be, and so on. And it's good. It's really good. I like being able to infer something from the art right away.
Yeah. Even
Like,
the Ronin here, right?
What?
The Ronin here basically wearing bits and pieces of other clans' armor that they've scavenged.
Yes.
It's so good.
And they don't have a big helmet with the emblem on it.
Yeah.
Instead, they're wearing a headband running around. Like, I love that. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's immersive.
Like,
This is how you should do art.
You
Immersive.
can tell that this is from Dragon. This is from Scorpion. This is also from Scorpion. This is Lion stuff. This is Unicorn. And it's, like, this is really good. I'm sure this is card art maybe, but if it's reused, fine. It's cool.
Fine.
I don't mind.
I don't mind.
Then
They
you just
reused
have
it correctly.
edgewizard.png here, being the...
With baby hands.
Yeah, he does have baby hands, but what can you do? It's a -1 flaw of baby hands.
He's the Ronin.
He just needed the point. I mean, the hands are all not that big, but most of them have big helmets, so it's like exasperates that. My favorite is going to be the dice system, because I think it really works, especially for the
It
time.
really does.
It's a bit swingy, but I don't mind. I like the keep system. I like that they thought of the stuff like, what if I give too many dice? Well, you keep more dice, but you don't ever roll more than 10. And so on. And there's a reroll mechanic, or rather a luck mechanic that gives you like more die for a thing you want to have luck on. Not a reroll. But they thought of, well, what if luck? They made it so, like, a simple thing like, yes, you can roll your stat, even to like sometimes do things that aren't even in its wheelhouse. Like if you have a skill for tactics, you might use that tactics skill to play chess. But then you will just roll your stat, that is intelligence, and not reroll 10s. You don't get to roll your stat, your skill in tactics and actually play chess with it. No. But since you have it, you can actually make a roll that is like kind of a little bit better, but you don't reroll 10s.
Yep.
It's a simple system that works well.
It does. Also, context for viewers. It is inspired by the 7 Seas system, right down to the advantages and disadvantages in here. But the dice system is a better version of what they did in 7 Seas.
Yep.
And that's one of the things you have to really look at with the DNA of things like this, because this was written after 7 Seas. And it was written better.
Yep.
So there you go.
And having looked into it slightly, while the dice system changes in terms of like how you roll a little bit, they stick with the roll skill keep stat thing for the next several editions. So they liked it too, and they kept it, and that's good. Honorable mention to the advantage disadvantages section, because it's quite expensive, and they actually, for the most part, are actual disadvantages and advantages that in this game more so than others. If it's a social thing, it's going to haunt you a lot more than you would think if it's game is played according to book. So I understand that a lot of these are like just, you are just, for example, you just are antisocial, so you just get minuses to your rolls for social, but also it's gonna fuck you in other ways that you're antisocial, because if you don't want to go to your daimyo's tea party, you're going to lose face, and so on. So double whammy there. Ultimately,
100%.
I would have liked to play this at some point, but I never was able to like make it work in my brain how I would run it, so I never did.
Yep. I mean, I had some fun with it, but it was in spite of the conflicting things rather than because of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big,
it seems
big
to
important thing to note.
It seems to be how that goes. Okay. Well, that's the rings. We have 3 hours. Time.
Very fun time.
Hey Drake.
Very fun time.
What do we do next time?
So it is October.
To be in my defense, by the way, I nominated this way before October. We just happened to both fall ill as fuck, so we did a Halloween thing.
That's why I'm prefacing this with it is October. So here's my thought, and this is kind of not a normal thing for us, but I was thinking we could do something that people have talked about in the past, like and it's specifically on the topic of doing horror, but it's a specific campaign setting that usually is for D&D, but you could probably use it with anything else. Talking about Ravenloft. And giving you what is usually regarded as the best edition of it, the one that was done by Sword and Sorcery, which was White Wolf.
Okay, I'm happy with that. Sure.
Yeah, and the reason for that is, as people know, I complained about how they just keep doing Curse of Strahd over and over again. And the setting is way more than that. Holy fuck. So
I wonder why they are doing the same 5 things over and over again. Could it be that they're out of ideas? No.
Couldn't be. So the secondary reason for this is, of course, it's October, and I think people would be entertained by us going on about, look at this mine of ideas, go have fun with some of this.
Yeah, so I'm happy to Ravenloft, sure.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, the writing in D&D, especially in the oldest stuff, is quite good, so I'm happy.
Exactly. It's good stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll get you
stuff. That's the episode. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I'm going to rate somebody. The question is who?
Yep.
Cool. Also, exciting is doing Yuna Musum.
Yeah, that is like one of her go-tos.
I mean, she is a pony, so.
Exactly.
That's just right, huh?
Pony speaks to pony.
We are back on Monday with the... Oh, that was the wrong... Oh, is a VT at the end?
Yeah, I think there's a VT.
Oh, Vtuber even.
Vtuber, wow, it spells it all out. I've yet to encounter somebody who has virtual tuber at the end.
Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Okay. We're back on Monday doing something with Dragons and Sunnet?
Yeah, something. There's
Is
a
it?
vote.
Yeah, I haven't voted in it yet. And then that's gonna be a week. Next week also on was it Saturday? They're doing the horror movie watch along on my on my server.
Yep. Horror movie watch along.
When is that?
Be there or be slightly terrified.
Yeah, slightly less terrified. We are doing the next week, next Saturday, on the 18th. We're doing that. Yes. So hopefully we can have some people there for that, and once we have some horror comedies, and there's one real horror, we'll see what comes out of it. Anyway, see you all soon. Have a good one, everybody. And yes, for next one we will have both of us moving on stream.
Yes,
I know.
We'll do it.
I know how to do that. It's just we have to set it up. We didn't do it for this time because we were both not thinking about it, because we have done this show for 3 years in this way. And anyway, bye everyone. See you soon. Rate is going. Have a good one. Bye. Have a good Sunday. Wee.